Yeah. Anyway, and welcome to an evening of thought with Father Ted. Thank you for joining me, brethren. Today, for your lesson, we will talk about the work of the Lord in model building. And, of course, do you really think I look like a vicar?
You do, you have this kind of vicary look.
It's very disrespectful. Fox should have taken his hat off if we're in church.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah,
I'll just put some extra in the collection tray. You're fine.
It was just a T-shirt I put on, but I didn't realise it looked like.
I've been sat there looking at it for half an hour. And I'm like, hang on a minute.
No wonder I've been walking around town and people have stopped swearing and things like that as I've walked past them.
They're respectful.
Yeah, they've all been very respectful and nice, and I've been offered cups of tea all over. And would you like more tea, Vicar?
I think going on the bicycle helps as well. So.
Anyway, we're live. Better say hello to these guys. Hi, guys. Welcome. It's right. We found out today that next week is our 1-year anniversary. We've been going 52 weeks.
Yay!
Whoa, yay!
And I found a really old picture on the YouTube channels of me from when I did I think it was a Typhoon build. That was about 3 or 4 years ago. And now we've all changed. Right. Right, yes.
The way up in those days.
So welcome to this 51st edition of eModels Live, eModels.co.uk. From me, Ted, and him over there. Where is he down here?
Oh, yes, get off!
Or is he over here? Or is he down there?
Hello.
Yeah, that's the man.
Head then.
And the new guy in the room. Is
Hello.
there, or is he down there? That's him. Yeah. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. Yes. Yeah.
So what have we all been up to this week? What have you been up to, Chris?
I've not been doing too much on the bench this week. I've got a bad shoulder, so the sitting and sprues and everything hasn't been with me this week. So I've been experimenting with 3D printing and dioramas. So I've been printing
that's nice.
A wall, hopefully for some sort of dock with some water going on there and things. So I'm playing around with that, and that's how it comes out in orange, because I'm using orange at the moment. But yeah, I'm playing and figuring out how it works and getting there. So
good. Yeah. And you, Fox, what have you been up to this week?
This week I've been warhammering. This week I have been mostly warhammering. I've been working on my Storm Wolf. So it's not finished yet by any long spot, but I've got loads of the painting done, so I've got the yellows and the blues down. I invented a new technique that I totally didn't invent yesterday, that I decided to call airbrush glazing, where you airbrush on exceptionally thin paint that makes it a real pain in the bum to actually spray. But you get, and it won't come out in this lighting, but you get some really nice sort of transitions and shades between different colours, between the different shades of blue. Doesn't come out on this webcam, unfortunately, but that's where I'm up to with him. And I also painted some little tiny fellas, which you can't see because it's under my eModels logo. Some little tiny Warhammer dudes. I painted some space puppies, some space wolves to go with it. So that's what I've been doing this week. I had to do something while my big, massive Unicorn Gundam was gunk washed and drying. So I've spent a little while playing with that. And gotta tell you, brush painting, so much fun. If you get stuck in a rut and you're on a build and you're bored, put it to one side, just go and paint something with the brush, because it's so easy. You don't have to think about it. No airbrush, no. It's great fun. I've still got paint on my hand from working earlier on. I've got loads of lead belcher on there. Lead belcher.
You know you're meant to paint the actual models, not yourself.
Yeah, well, I like to get my brush strokes right first, so should see the other guy.
Is it like when you're airbrushing, you start outside and you brush across, so you brush across your hand and then across the model and off again on the side, perhaps?
Reese from RJC Models Official says, Fox, give the space puppies a bone. Space puppies, they're space wolves, but I call them space puppies because I'm an idiot.
What have I been doing? Well, my computer is still in for repair, and by the way, I'm on my laptop again. Still, I'm also on Wi-Fi because the Ethernet cable doesn't seem to want to work tonight, so I can't directly link to the Wi-Fi to the internet. So I'm on Wi-Fi. So if you lose me, Fox is in charge.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's probably
I've been
think about.
And then if we lose Fox as well, I'm just going to turn it off.
Yeah. Fox, Chris will carry on the podcast using interpretive dance.
Yeah, so whilst my computer's been away, I've gone and done some of the more mundane stuff on the submarine. Here it is, upside down. That's because the only way to get it in. See, I've been waving to you. I can wave to you through the freeing ports. I've been doing some of the opening the freeing ports, things like that. Getting everything ready to sort of start putting the insides, in this submarine. What I have thought of doing, if my computer, my laptop is up to it, I may in the next week or so do a quick live update just to let you know how everything's getting on, because I keep getting emails what's happening to the U-boat. So I'll try and have a go at that. I know that they're not brilliant, the live builds, with because it's a little bit difficult. You can't paint something and then go off and let it dry and then come back and sort of re-edit it. It's I'll have to work out what I can do, what I could show you, but I'll have a go. I'll have a think about it.
By the way, Terry at Smooth's Workshop says Ted's in focus, but his lips are out of sync with the audio. I think that's normal, because when I met him in Telford, it was much the same.
Yeah. Just so you know as well, Smooth just apparently won a sweepstake that Gumpler would be mentioned. He guessed around about 4 minutes and 18 seconds. So yeah. So yeah, I just helped Smooth win the sweepstake there.
And Smooth's actually got a question. Why do they call them Freon ports, Ted?
Freon ports, yeah. Freeing ports, yeah. It's my northern accent that you southerners.
Why do they call them freeing ports then? I still don't
freeing
know.
Ports. Well, actually, I don't suppose they are freeing ports, because the more of
when they're just to let water go in.
It's a free flood. It's just the free flood areas. As the submarine used its ballast tanks, it would go down and it would just let water into the free flood areas. The tanks they are called freeing ports on a ship. If you go around a ship and you'll see sort of gaps under the railings, they're freeing ports just to let water freely run off the deck. I don't think they're called ballast. Griff says they're called ballast ports. I don't think they're called ballast ports. Well, I'm referring to them as freeing ports.
I think just they might also be known as free flow ports or free flow vents as well. I think. Yeah,
they're just into the free flow tanks. That's what they're for. So yeah, I've got them all to drill them.
Basically, when they designed U-boats in the 1940s, the guy was there saying, you know what, in like 80 years, when they make massive models of this, people are going to hate this, but I'm going to put all these little holes in there. It's going to make model makers suffer in 60 years, 70 years time.
Yeah, as local model making says, they allow the water between the pressure hull and the outside casing, just to let all the air out. Let water out, let air out. Let water in, let air out.
Correct answer for these things. He seems to know a lot of things about everything.
Yeah, but Spider Q says holes.
Yeah, good big holes.
Big holes inside a boat.
Yeah. Just a quickie, very quickly before we get going. As always, if you're watching this on the eModels webpage on the website emodels.co.uk/live, don't forget we do have a live chat going on as well, and we do giveaways for people in the chat. So if you want to join in, just hit the YouTube icon in the bottom right hand corner of the player, and that will take you to the eModels YouTube page where you can join in the live chat. And also don't forget there is a little sort of what's it called? I can't remember what it's called now. Super chat button, $sign at the bottom of the chat window. If you want to use that, you're more than welcome. It just means that your comment will be massive and illuminated, and we can't possibly miss it. But if you want to post a question, either use the super chat or put it in all big fat capital so we can see it. Although we may miss the occasional question because chat does go so fast. So apologies in advance if we do.
Yeah, chat does move fast. Chat does move fast. We do miss it. If you do want a question answered, Ted at emodels.co.uk, and I'll get it on the email, and we'll do our best to answer you on there.
We'll get it when his computer comes back.
Yeah. We have a question from Rustin Customs. He says, any suggestions on junk I can put on an abandoned taxi diorama? I have the Italeri truck stop kit already. Thanks. I was going to say the Italeri truck stop kit, so I'll shut up.
Where's it abandoned at? Is it in a junkyard or a parking lot or anything like that? I could think of any sort of number of kits, old cars, bits of metal, corrugated sheet metal. If it's in a scrapyard, lots of metal, ferrous stuff.
Do you mean like rubbish and newspapers and stuff on the back seat. And
Yeah.
If he's already got the artillery truck stop kit, he's probably looking at like things like barrels and boxes and crates and stuff as well. I'd say have a look at some of the Tamir stuff, because Tamir do lots of little accessory kits for various different things, from civilian cars to army. So you might get some barrels and jerry cans and things from that.
Yeah, you can make yourself some tarpaulins. I've been doing the same this week, actually. I got some tarpaulins. Tissue, just tissue covered in Elmer's glue, wood glue. I just made it go all a little bit stiff, and then just paint it. And you've got great tarpaulins, that sort of thing. Roll them up, fold them up. Brilliant. Scruffy Ball Tyre, says Zadster.
Yeah.
Rustin said it's behind a building, so it's been dumped behind a building. Yeah, sort of all bricks, rubble, things like that.
It's always worth having a look on certain auction websites as well, because sometimes people will be selling like bags of that tires at that scale, or bags of jerry cans. Just like people collect all bits of model kits over the years, and when they've got like 300 tires, they just sell them as a bag of stuff for a few quid. So worth checking on there as well. You never know who's selling what kind of bits.
Yeah. Has it got anything in that book? Have you got that book to hand, Chris? That diorama book? Has it got anything in it? Well,
if you ask me to look something up in it, you might have to give me a week.
Yeah, that's only because he'll start reading it and get carried away and be like, "Hello, I'm Mr. Lear."
I haven't really flicked through it yet. I'll have a look at the back, see if there's index.
Sergeant Bowen says, "Guten Abend, Fox. Guten Abend, mein Freunde."
There is no index.
Oh, what we do? There is no index. So yeah, while Chris thumbs through that, I'm just going to say what we are going to do this week as well. We're going to announce the winner of the gallery build. We've had a big argument about an hour before this started, or for an hour before this stream started. We each had our own ideas of what
there
should
words, there were regrets, there weren't any tears, but
yeah, we're storming off. Yeah, Chris threatened not to come back,
and then he came back.
And then he came back. So we calmed him down, and we chose a winner. I'm going to announce that later on. We've also got the winner of last week's giveaway, which was it was a tractor, wasn't it?
It was a tractor.
It was a tractor. And,
That's right, it was a great big tractor.
You give me the keys.
Right.
So we'll announce that as well. So, right. Questions? Yep. Question. Yeah.
There's stuff in here about lampposts and things like that, but it doesn't seem to be lots of small sort of things. It's more sort of whole things. But I mean, there's an abandoned roadway that might have some bits on it that might be of some use, but just buy the book. It's a big book.
It depends on the kind of setting you want as well. If you want a junkyard, or just like the side of a road, or just general like building site rubbish, or it could be anything. Have a think.
Just have a walk around your local area, see if you can find an abandoned car somewhere that take pictures.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't even have to have an abandoned car, just behind a derelict building, the sort of junk and detritus that lies around there. Right. Anything else? Where we up to?
Yeah, do make sure you keep the questions coming in the chat, folks.
Yeah, remember it's your chat.
Questions for our content. So.
You'll have to excuse me if I keep poking my ears tonight. I had some new ears fitted, and they're a little bit itchy. So I can hear you all better now. Yeah, I can hear people talking about me now.
Yeah.
I'll see Lynn's in. Lynn's in for the US of A. Hi, Lynn.
Evening. Or morning, or afternoon, or
Dave Barker, I do have your question as well, Dave.
We did have your question.
Yeah, I have got your question. In fact, I'll do it. I could do it now, actually.
Normal service will be resumed. Who am I kidding?
Dave, where's the rum gone Barker? Dave Barker says, Ted, as HMS Queen Lizzie, that's HMS Queen Elizabeth, is having problems with leaking out the prop shafts, and him being a total newbie, when it comes to radio control boats, how do we seal the prop shafts on a radio control boat?
That's a good question, actually, because you've got to have the prop shaft sticking out so it can spin him round. So it's got to exit the hull, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, over to you guys. Off you go.
I have no idea.
I'm assuming there's some sort of lubricant in use there.
Yeah, well, the secret of installing without going into too many difficulties and long explanations, the secret to installing a prop shaft into a model boat is to put it in at such an angle or such a length that the length of the end of it comes above the water line of the boat. So if water does get in, it should only technically travel up halfway along the tube. So if you have
the prop shaft
you mean
above
cheating?
water level, because that's where the center of the
if you have the water level like that, if that's the water level, you would install your prop shaft something like that, so that the water would only go this far up, and this part here would be above the water, so the water level wouldn't go up. Are you with me? Are you with me? Am I explaining this right?
Yeah, I get it. I just not quite
the
sure
boat
how you
in
have.
the bottom of it.
Right.
Would it not?
Right.
But surely the prop
Sorry.
shaft has to be in the middle of the spinny propeller. So wouldn't that mean
Yeah, you know,
the screws
a
above the water?
prop shaft is made up of the propeller shaft itself
Mm.
and an outer tube. So there's a tube, and then a prop shaft goes in. Now the prop shaft, the bit in the middle that spins, is held in the tube by two bushes, one at each end. And between that, you fill it with a lubricant, a thin grease.
I was right.
Yes, you're right, Chris. Yeah, so Chris was right. However, the prop shaft shouldn't be filled so much that it causes drag, because too thick a grease will cause drag on the motor, and it will cause the motor to burn out. And then you put the end, as I say, you put the end of the prop shaft, try and get it above the water level, so it doesn't siphon water into the boat. The prop shaft on a radio control boat. Real boats are not quite the same. They have thrust bearings and things at the end of the shaft to keep the water out. So yeah, so that is in my world. I know what I'm talking about. Whether you know,
You ask the question, Ted gives you the entire answer.
Yeah. So what you're doing really is you're trying to make sure the end of the prop shaft is above the water line, or if it's not, if you'll have to make it long enough to make a decent angle for the prop to go out. You don't want a 90-degree angle on your prop.
Because then it'd be a helicopter, Ted. That wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but as Chris is building tugs, he'll know all about this.
Well, these have got. It's all at the bottom. I assume this is obviously realistic, so it just all comes out the bottom.
Yeah. Well, they're Z drives.
Yeah,
I thought that was something to do with police, wasn't
The
it?
prop shaft goes like that, down into the end. The motor's there, the thing's there, so it comes out and then down, doesn't it? And then that way. Is that why it's called the Z drive? Because it's that shape.
Yeah, they can be Z drives. What happens then? The whole pod, when it steers, instead of having a rudder, the whole pod turns. The whole propeller turns.
If that's why that's called Z drives, why were they called Z cars?
I know. Well, now I've got the tune in my head. Oh man.
Yeah.
Is it because it was I'll start that again, shall I? Train wreck. Is it because they were all Ford Zephyrs?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's why I was asking. Someone in chat will know. I'm sure they'll enlighten us.
That was Ted's
Zulu
technical
cars.
Technical too.
Yeah, Trot and Chad said Zulu cars, and Mr. Law said they're Azimuth thrusters. That's what you've got on your submarine.
He also says it's a Z drive because it's the dimensional axis it rotates around.
I thought I was being clever. I'll shut up. Yeah.
I just thought it was the shape of the prop actually, because it came out as sort of a Z. But
I thought it was just like futuristic science stuff. So
yeah. So there, the technical issues of driving your model boat through the water. Mm-hmm. We could talk about anything on this program.
Yeah.
Terry said that brings back memories, Z cars and the Sweeney and the Professionals. So we're good for the next hour now talking about old TV shows.
I watched an episode of Professionals the other night, and I used to think it was good. Well, it is still good, but after watching it the other night, no, it wasn't as good as it was.
Do you remember when the Nissan Almera first came out, and they had an advert in the style of the Sweeney and all the Professionals, or whatever, and they drive around this Almera, and they were like, goes past this marketplace, and there's a pile of cardboard boxes, and he goes, "Boxes make the car look good," and he drives through them.
Yeah,
That's where
the professionals consisted of lots of roaring around in cars and rolling around the floor firing guns. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Right, where we at?
Zoo
the cars.
Tedward.
So,
Do we have any other email questions?
Oh, right, we have another email question. Adrian David. Adrian.
David. Sorry, every time.
Adrian David. He said he's ill. There's a flu outbreak in Kent. So if you're in Kent, stay indoors, put a big coat on.
Yeah.
He's going to miss out on the live stream tonight. So hopefully he can catch up later on. Question. When was the last time you were very ill? And did you attempt to put a kit together? Have you ever tried to build while you've been ill?
No, because when it comes to being ill, I'm a big wuss. If I get like a bit of a sniffle, I just retreat to my bed and die.
Yeah, it's a man thing. When we're ill, we can't do anything else.
I mean, I'll work when I've got like, I'm a bit rough or something. But if I'm actually ill, I think the last time I was properly ill, it's probably going back about 10 years when only once in my entire life have I actually caught the actual flu. And I used to laugh when if my previous jobs, working call centers, somebody phoned in and said, "Oh, I can't come in, I've got the flu." And I'd be like, "No, you haven't, because you wouldn't be talking to me." And I had the proper flu because basically I was sat there one day, I felt a bit ropey. I felt a bit cold shivers, went to bed, woke up 3 days later. That was proper flu. That was like, I was gone for 3 days. Just forget it. I was just this sweating mass of nastiness into my bed for 3 days. And I was like, right, that's what
not an image anybody needs, thanks. Not an image anybody needs in their heads, thanks.
Nah, well, it's too late now. It's out there on the internet.
Yeah,
so I've had the proper flu once. Other than that, it's just been cold. So.
Yeah, but I think once a guy's ill, he needs all his attention concentrating on being ill. You can't do anything else. Because you can only do one thing at a time, and that if you're going to be ill, you've got to be all your concentration. You've got to concentrate on being ill.
The important thing is when you're a man. The important thing is when you're not well, you have to devote all your energies to making sure everybody knows how not well you are and displaying this to everybody so you can get the sympathy. So it's very hard to do anything else when you're deliberately making people aware how ill you are.
Yeah, it's like when you phone up work, isn't it? And you might have a broken leg, but you always phone up work and say, "Hello, it's Ted here. I'm afraid I've broken my leg. I can't be in." Yeah,
break your leg and get a cough. That's great.
Yeah. So it's always the phony voice down the phone. Even if you are ill, you still have to be a phony voice on the phone.
A lot of people in chat are saying they can't concentrate when they're ill, and sneezing or coughing while painting's no good to come of it.
Yeah, I always get sneezing standing. It's a nightmare.
Well, you think if you're coughing all over your model, you might pick up the germs. You might pick up the germs when you come back to it.
If you cough it up on the model, then just treat that as a liquid mask for your chipping. There you go.
Yeah.
Natural spray pattern.
Weather over it. Yeah.
Paint over it and then just get some water on it and wipe off the stuff and just got natural chipping.
So that's it. When you're ill, you've got to be ill. Sorry, there's no second. There's no.
Tony Black says anyone in a film that coughs is going to die by the end of the film.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like Star Trek, isn't it? Whenever they beam down a squad of security, you knew they were going to die. Yeah. So as soon as they
is Ted doing sci-fi?
Yeah, doing sci-fi.
It sounded like he knew what he was talking about as well. I was a little bit worried.
I know. He didn't say red.
When Captain Kirk beamed down with 3 guys in red shirts, he might as well have beamed down and said, "You go over there and dig 3 graves."
Yeah. What's this away mission? The away mission is to dig the graves for you guys because you're going to die anyway. The entire purpose of the away mission.
RC Model said he tried to build a model when he broke his arm. It didn't go well.
Yeah.
Could you try to paint a part as it chasing it around the bench with your brush?
Actually, I tell her, there is one time I was very young. I was 15, and on the very last day of school, The very last day before the summer holidays, I fractured my ankle. And for the next 6 weeks, I had I was on crutches and stuff. So I couldn't do anything. And really annoyingly, the first day back at school, it had healed. I was like, swine. But for that 6 weeks of the summer holiday, I couldn't do anything. So I basically sat indoors and mum and dad got me some model kits to make. So I made a couple of small Messerschmitts and stuff, just sat in my chair in the living room with a tea tray over me, just making little kits and painting them and stuff.
When you were at school, though, did you ever get the Lucozade for the cellophane wrapper?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then within 5 minutes, the whole bottle is just this sticky mess.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why they put a sticky cellophane wrapper on it.
It's the 90s.
Well, it was a proper glass bottle, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to take the bottle back and get 5p back.
Here's a blast from the past. I don't know if anybody will remember this, but if it was nationwide, but in the 70s, one thing I miss is the Alpine Pop Man, the guy that would come around in a big flatbed truck with just crates of fizzy pop.
No, it was just your road.
Alpine was the brand.
I remember the Pop Man. I don't think Alpine was delivered to this area, but we had a different manufacturer.
It's basically like a grumpy middle-aged man in a big flatbed truck, Bedford usually, with millions of crates, like the milkman, but he delivered fizzy pop, big 2-litre bottles of fizzy pop. And there was always some ferocious-looking 15-year-old in the back who scared all the local kids just by sitting in the back and going, ugh. And we've actually got somewhere in this house. We must have bought them the last time he ever came around. We've actually still got a couple of bottles of Alpine Pop in the house somewhere, and they must be going on 35 years old now, 40 years. And one of them was lime, fizzy lime, it still glows in the dark, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just you. There are people in the chat that say they did that, and Corona as well.
Yep, Corona.
I remember Corona. Just going back, I did notice something on here. Just going back to the guys in Star Trek. Star Trek red shirts v Star Wars stormtroopers. Who'd win?
Well, the stormtroopers wouldn't hit anybody, and the red shirts would die anyway.
The red shirts would probably die anyway, just from being anywhere near anyone shooting at them. So
yeah, the stormtrooper missed, but the red shirts still die.
Yeah.
I've just remembered something, Ed. I need to vacate the camera for 2 seconds to go and get something that I forgot to get. You know what I'm doing.
I know where you're going.
There was a question for you about going backwards with a prop shaft. So I don't know if you...
I didn't used to find it. It was a question. I did say it. Do I get water going up the prop shaft if the boat went backwards? I didn't used to find that would be a problem. Used to find that you get the bearings to fit the bushes, more bushes than bearings, to fit the prop shaft. They'd be quite tight, and with some decent lubricant in them. I use silicone grease because it's nice and light and thin. Didn't used to get any water coming in. I used to have quite dry boats, really. Got more water going in over the deck than I did through the bottom.
The boat shouldn't go backwards, should they? Very much. Normally a forward thing, isn't it?
Yeah, boats usually just use reverse for manoeuvring and slow speeds, but hardly ever. You can go backwards at full speed, but hardly because you don't have much control of your direction going backwards.
No, I didn't go for a wee. I had to go and get something.
Yeah.
I'll show you later. Ted knows what it is.
Yeah. Right.
What a miss. What a miss.
No, I just we went back to prop shafts and bushes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so. I've lost. Smooth Workshop said 10p back on a glass bottle. We used to call them glass checks in Scotland. 10p. That used to be a penny a bottle when I were a lad, all them years ago, when the world was in black and white, and I was still a lad.
For those watching in black and white, the blue ball is behind the pink.
TK's in.
Hey, TK. Everybody has to behave now because the mod's in.
Bobbington asked if you were going to get a beard trimmer to do it live on air.
No, I need to charge my beard trimmer, but the thing is my beard trimmer only does so far out, and it'll make this too short at the side. So
just while we've got a break and everybody's in, we were thinking, as we said before, right at the start, this is 1 week away from our 1 year anniversary. Anything you guys out there think we should be doing for a yearly, our birthday, really? So, some ideas what we could do. We'll try and do them. So yeah, 52 weeks with us, 52 weeks with me anyway, and a few less with Fox, and even a lot less.
Several less with me.
Because this, you have to remember, this is Ted's show. I'm just a guest on this show, me.
Oh, well, we're all part of the same team. It's not our show anyway. It's the viewers' show. It's their show. Yeah. They run it. We just present it. They run the show.
So does that mean that when somebody presses the wrong button, the stream stops halfway through? It's their fault because it's their show.
It's their fault. It's their fault. Yeah.
Remember, viewers, if anything goes wrong, it's totally your fault.
The people in chat are saying, well, Tony Black says an extra prize. Zadster says 52% off everything to celebrate. And Bobbington Watt says stickers for all. I think it's our birthday. You should be getting us presents.
Yeah, you should be sending stuff to us.
Cakes can be sent to ted@emodels.co.uk.
Yes.
Cake.
Live bill 50 kits each in an hour, says Spidiquate. Spidiquate.
How about some limited edition eModels live feed T-shirts? Oh, well, that could be a good one. We'll feed that one to the people that people that know.
I watched the live feed and all I got was this T-shirt. Dave said you could give away Fox's hat as a first prize and Dora as the BB prize. Now, I can't give this away because there's no hat to replace it. I was actually going to do this, give this hat away as a giveaway, but then I realised I haven't got an equally comfortable hat to wear. So
we could have some. We could get some gold stickers, anniversary edition sticker. Yeah, and I still need to send some stickers out, by the way. So if you have won stickers, I haven't forgot you. I just haven't got around to it. Yeah,
he's forgot you. He's forgot you.
Yeah, you see,
I've just neglected to remember. Yeah.
I've got the envelopes. I've got the stickers. I have got the stamps. And if I was to get the stamps, I'd have to go get the stamps, come home, put the stamps on, then go out again with the envelopes and post them. So,
why couldn't you post office, get the stamps, put the stamps on them, and then post them in the post office? They allow you to go to one side and stick stamps on envelopes, you know.
Do they?
Yeah.
You could post them without the stamps, then the people who get them have to pay the postage.
Yeah, that's an idea. Right, yeah. Anybody that we stamp in future will have to pay their own postage.
You win the sticker for just the cost of postage.
Who out the three of us will forget their anniversary next week?
Listen, I unless it's Monday, Thursday, or Friday, I don't even know what day it is.
Unless there's cake involved.
Well, I'm not a big cake person. If there's kebab involved.
Birthday kebab should be a thing.
Birthday kebab, yeah.
It's like literally, I had to ask someone yesterday, what day is it? Because I was like, is it Saturday or is it Monday? What day? No idea. And I've said before, I only know Monday because of this show. I only know Thursday and Friday because Thursday the bins go out, Friday they come back in. That's it. It's the only things I have to remember in my calendar. So
I'm gonna have to tell Fox it's Monday next Sunday just to have him sitting here waiting for us.
Yeah, I know. I'll be sitting there going, where is everybody?
So Christmas must have been quite confusing because the bins have gone out on a different day.
Yeah, then it gets a bit weird then.
Anyway, back to modelling.
Questions coming in the chat, by the way.
Yes, yeah.
Keep us going.
Yes, Fox is beginning to ramble, so we need some questions.
Yes,
it doesn't have to be. Yeah, it doesn't need to be about model making. It can be about anything. It's your show. Will answer or try to answer to the best of our ability. Bit of a disclaimer there. Whatever you ask us.
We'll provide an answer or three, but they might not be the correct answers. But they will be answers. Yeah.
Comsby says, I need liquid masking. Any suggestions? Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Actually, I have some on the desk.
I've got some.
Humbrol Mascot's brilliant.
Yeah.
There's not many products of Humbrol's I recommend, but the Matte 49 varnish, the Mascol, I do recommend because it's great stuff. It smells like, how can I put this politely, a farmyard because it's got ammonia in it.
I think it smells like Copydex.
I don't know what Copydex is.
Is
that in the days when everything was like made of faxes and Xeroxes, and I'm not that old.
Yeah, it's Copydex is a glue that never glued anything.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I won't be using that. I don't like that.
Have it in the civil service then.
Yeah,
but yeah, this was really good. There's also, I think, the Vallejo stuff. How do you pronounce that, Ted? Sorry, is that right? Is it
Vallejo? Vallejo.
I was just letting him go then and see how long he'd go on for. Yeah, I think there's also Vallejo do some as well, which is a little bit thinner. So this is great for doing chipping effects. When I do this, I'm going to paint the chipping on, but if you want to like do a layer of paint, make some chips with this, with a cocktail stick or a very fine brush, and then spray over, you can just rub it off. The thinner, I think, Vallejo stuff is better if you want to, say you've got a little recessed, say, shape, like a square, like a recessed square, and you want to fill it to that edge. The Vallejo stuff is a bit thinner, so it flows a bit better. So it depends on what you want to do. This is good for making chips. And I'll tell you what this is also good for. When I rat rodded my actual car, my actual real life car, I used Maskell. We were in a proper spray booth with proper cellulose paints and solvent paints and big DeVilbiss spray guns and full respirators and extraction that sucks the hair off your head. And we painted the base color on the car. It was Ipanema Brown, which is a lacquer paint. And then I spent an hour going around my car with about 4 bottles of this stuff, painting on paint chips with masking fluid. We sprayed over it with the Volkswagen Gulf Blue, light blue color. And then when it had dried, I went around and took all the masking fluid off. So I actually used liquid mask to put paint chipping on a real live car, and it was brilliant. It was great fun, and it was like 4 bottles of this stuff. But I'll tell you what, the smell of ammonia. Woo.
One thing about that stuff, though, it's death to paintbrushes. If you put it on a paintbrush, throw your paintbrush away. Yeah,
within 5 minutes, your paintbrush is, well, it's kind of advantageous because if you put a paintbrush in, it will just clump up and become a globby mess. However, once it becomes a globby mess, you can use it to your advantage because when you dip it in, the masking fluid collects on the end, and you can just then touch it to the model, and you'll get little round blobs. So you can't do fine work with it after a few minutes, but that's when you have to get a cocktail stick to do little tiny chips. But if you've got a brush, keep that brush as your masking brush, because after a while you can pull a lot of it off, but it'll always be a bit blobby. And with a cocktail stick, you find it's hard to get the masking fluid on the stick. But with the brush, when it goes blobby, it collects a lot of the fluid, so you can dub it on your model. So yeah, Humbrol liquid mask or the Vallejo stuff. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, another thing that I've found works well with Humbrol Maskell is when you finish your model, take a photograph of it, because you guarantee as soon as you take a photograph of your model, you'll spot the Maskell that you didn't take off.
Yeah, everybody who has ever built a model using liquid mask at some point and uploaded a picture to Facebook will know the feeling of, I've spent 3 weeks making this, I masked it 2 weeks ago, I've been looking at it every day for 2 weeks, I've just put the picture on Facebook, and there's a big dot of masking fluid I hadn't noticed. It's always the way. And in fact, just on that theme, to handbrake turn for a second, a good way, if you're painting a model, any kind of model, and you look at it, you think, right, I'm happy with how it looks now. Is there anything else I need to do? Here's a handy tip. Take a picture and look at it on your computer. Like, just put it on your computer, look at it full screen. Because I guarantee you, when you look at a picture of your model on a computer, it's like looking at a totally different model. If you're looking at something every day, you won't see any imperfections. The number of times I've taken a picture of something I'm working on, put it on the computer, looked at it full screen and realized, oh, I've missed that bit. I've not painted there. That line's horrible. This bit's. So before you put the seal of finish on a model, just take a picture of it and have a look, and then just make sure, because you'll see things you don't normally see when you're looking at it close up.
Is that the same theory as reading a text message again before you click send?
Yeah, or just double checking who there's in the send field before you send the message.
Who the recipients are.
Yeah.
Dave Barker has another question. What's the strangest thing you've used or seen used as the base for a diorama? Now, most of the strange ones I've seen have been ones that Dave's already done. So
yeah.
yeah. CD,
CDs, cheese boards, 2Ps. Yeah.
I saw people use Dr. Faust Painting Clinic. He's got a great YouTube channel. He used half of a foam ball as a moon for one of his builds. He just got a sphere of dense polystyrene, put it in half, and that was a moon. He textured it up and used a moon.
Cool. That's initiative. You got to use your initiative.
Yeah. Sergeant Bowen says bedpan.
Bedpan, right.
Screw Blue Addict says, question, what do you use to clean varnishes out of an airbrush?
It really depends on what sort of varnish it is, whether it's enamel or acrylics. Or
How long have you left the airbrush before cleaning it?
Yeah.
I've done that. Have you ever gone to bed and thought, sugar, I haven't cleaned the airbrush?
I'm actually quite fastidious. I mean, I'm a naturally scruffy guy. You'd never guess. I'm naturally a scruffy individual, so my desk is always a mess and stuff. But the one thing I'm very fastidious about is my airbrush. When I'm spraying, as soon as I finish spraying, even if I've just done one color for the day, I will strip it down and clean it every single time. I will never leave it overnight. And for some reason, just that I'm really fastidious. With the varnish question, if they're acrylic varnishes, then just treat it with acrylic paint. Just use your normal airbrush cleaners. Yeah, like your Pledge 2 times more shine. Oh, I've got some news on that, by the way. If you use like your acrylic varnishes, you can just clean it out with your normal airbrush thinners or your airbrush cleaner. If you want to be extra safe, if your brush is solvent safe, you can run some isopropyl alcohol through it. That will get rid of anything. But you can use that as like a quick flush through before you clean it properly. If you've used lacquer varnishes, so proper lacquer gloss coats or matte coats, then again, isopropyl alcohol will get rid of it, or your lacquer thinners. So whatever you use to clean the paints out, it's exactly the same process. The only thing is when you've used varnishes, they tend to crust up inside the airbrush. So when you've used, the golden rule is if you spray a varnish through your airbrush of any kind, the moment you've finished, clean it out, do a full clean and strip it down, because if you don't, you've basically varnished the inside of your airbrush. With paint, you can leave paint and airbrush for days and clean it out later, but with varnish, you want to clean it out there and then, because it will clog up the inside of your airbrush. But whatever you normally clean your airbrush with, if it's lacquers, use lacquer thinners or IPA. If it's acrylics, use acrylic thinners or airbrush cleaner or IPA. But if you make sure your airbrush is solvent safe before you put isopropyl alcohol through it.
Yeah. One of the things that I sort of have is for doing varnishes is the old cheap Chinese airbrush that I first started airbrushing with.
Yep.
And it's brilliant for using for varnishes. For doing clear coats, I just push it through this because it doesn't need any finesse or anything like that. It sprays well, and if it goes wrong, it's not a great lot. It's not a great loss, but I do clean it out. I usually shove some Pledge through it. Trying to shine.
Shine. Somebody in the comments, I apologize because I can't find your comment now, also mentioned cellulose thinners. If you use lacquer paint, yes, you can put cellulose thinners through your airbrush. They will clear anything out, but again, make sure your airbrush is solvent safe.
Yeah.
On that side note, by the way, I have some news. You remember that I use for my gloss varnish, purely as a utility coat, I use my Pledge Floor Care Finish 2 times more shine. But in the past, I used to use Pledge Multi-Surface Wax, which you can get in the UK, until they stopped making this, and then I had to get this from the US. I had occasion to email SC Johnson last week and say, right, what is, because everybody's asking all the time, I mailed SC Johnson, right, what is the UK version of Floor Care Finish, because it's too expensive to get this from the US. And the official word from SC Johnson is Pledge Multi-Surface Wax. They still make it. It's still around. But they only sell it to Sainsbury's and Asda. But you'll find other places have it. But this is still around. So don't give up on that yet. If you're looking for that and you don't want to spend on more, that still exists. So I just thought I'd let everybody know this still exists. It's still in production. So there you go. Right. Question. Ted's got a question.
Yeah. John Bennett says, "Hi guys, he would like to do Phantom about to launch off the Arc Royal in 1/72. That must be the new Airfix Phantom that we looked at last week. Fantastic model that. He wants to do it in 1/72. Where could he get some plans from?" Well, first of all, if you're going to do the Arc Royal in 1/72, I'd
get a garage built.
Get a garage built.
Yeah. Get your garage done up.
Yeah. However, if you just wanted to do a Phantom sort of just like crouch down at the on the deck as it's just about to fire off on the catapult, I just build a small section. I don't think Coastal Displays or do they do Coastal Displays do a aircraft carrier deck?
No, they're just flat 2-dimensional boards. I think they have like perhaps deck pattern, but it's not curved.
No, it wouldn't be curved anyway. The Phantom didn't go off on a curved deck. It went off on the catapult on the arc roll.
That's right. It's curved. If anything, it goes down like that then, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what I would probably rather do is probably have a look around the internet and have a look for some pictures of the Ark Royal and get some pictures of the deck, because you only need a small section of it.
No, build the whole thing. Go on. You know you want to.
Just build the whole deck. If you want plans of the Ark Royal, you could probably get them from the Maritime Museum in London.
Troughton Chard says the TV show Sailor is a great reference for Ark Royal.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm sure that's on YouTube. With who sang the song "We Are Sailing"?
Michael Jackman says, John, there was an article in last month's Airfix Model World on building a deck section for that. Like on the box, he says. He wants to build it like it's on the box with it coming off the deck.
Yeah. Yeah, so just go for a section of deck, sort of put the catapult into it, and do it like that. Be a nice little sort of diorama, that.
Yep. Smooth says his stepfather served on the Ark Royal.
Oh, right.
My dad was on the Ark Royal for a little while, but he was filming a Christmas special with Alison Moyet and some other singers and stuff many years ago. So not quite the same.
Yeah, so
on the Ark Royal, really, is it?
That would be quite nice to see. Yeah.
Back to the pledge thing. Tony Black says he wonders who the first modeler who used pledge on a model was.
I don't know. I don't know how somebody figured that out.
It makes things shiny. I'll try it.
Yeah, and why did it come to use pledge? Why did it come to use pledge on a model?
It's the same thing about lots of things, though. Why is the first person to do something do it? It seems like a really stupid idea, but someone tries it.
Yeah, I mean, you use it on your floors and stuff, so you probably think, I need a gloss varnish. I haven't got one. I could use this stuff. It probably came around in the 70s when everybody just used bits they found lying around the house anyway. So
yeah, something like that. Yeah, necessity. What's it? I can't think of the phrase about necessity breeds. I can't remember. Never mind. Yeah, sprue glue addicts.
It's like asking who was the first person that milked a cow to figure out how to milk it. Who first came up with the idea of bread? It's not like a logical train of thought.
What was the best thing before sliced bread?
Eh?
What was the best thing before sliced bread?
I know. It's like you don't just sit there and think, here's some grain in my hand. If I do this, this, and this, I'll have a soft comestible product. It's not a normal train of thought. So
yeah. Tony Black, necessity, the mother of invention. That's it. Tim Baker said his brother was on the Ark's last tour around Britain as a journalist. Yeah.
Sprue Glue says his father drank on the Ark Royal.
Ted is the mother of invention, says Dave Barker. Does anybody know of any planned releases for either a 135th Husky or a Foxhound? I don't know if there's any 135. I think Airfix obviously do that one in 1/72nd, but I haven't seen any of the scales of it. Unless anybody out there knows any different, remember, converse amongst yourselves, talk amongst yourselves, and help each other out. That's what it's all there for.
Troughton Chard says comes up with an answer for what was the best thing before sliced bread was unsliced bread.
Just bread, then, isn't it? I think
bread.
They didn't have any
amateur level bread, not professional bread.
Michael Hayward said there is a definite lack of modern UK armour and AFVs. Yeah, there is really. There's a lot of Russian stuff, a lot of Second World War stuff. There's some quite nice stuff kicking about in our British forces at the moment. There's no models of it.
You have to ask the question though, to the model making masses, are British AFVs interesting?
I think some of them.
I don't mean that. I'm not kind of saying we've got rubbish stuff, but I mean to the massive people that build that sort of stuff. The American stuff is always exciting because it's big and loud and bad, and the Russian stuff's great because it's a curiosity. But the British stuff is like, do they kind of look at it and go, whatever? For things like the AFVs and stuff, or is there a different reason? I don't know what it is.
Saying that, I suppose that we could say the same about sort of the German forces as well. There's nothing other than the Leopard tank. There's nothing particularly of interest.
Yeah,
coming from them either. I think everybody's sort of buying the same sort of stuff now, and then everybody's all the forces maybe sort of look the same.
It does seem to be like, if you look at it, the market, it does seem to be like American, Russian, Israeli, and you get the sort of the South African, slightly civilian, slightly military sort of big vehicles. They're kind of cool because they look like wild. So they're kind of interesting because they're ridiculous looking, but you get that kind of stuff. But
yeah, we've got the Warriors, and if you go back, you can get the Scorpions, that sort of thing. The ferret armored cars, that sort of back to the 60s and 70s. I think we're all quite good, nice Cold War type stuff. Yeah, there's certainly nothing really modern about.
Yeah, Smooth says he thinks a lot of people who are into AFVX forces and want to build vehicles they drove. So maybe it's just there's a massive market in the US for that kind of thing and other parts, and not so much maybe for the UK. I don't know. I mean, there are ones out there. It's just the manufacturers don't seem to do a lot of them. I couldn't name any current British military hardware at all, unless the Challenge is still a thing. I don't know. I couldn't name a British tank or vehicle.
The Challenge is still about. It's the only vehicle not to. I think we haven't lost a vehicle in combat.
Yeah. Tim Bick says pre-war and Second World War British armour is fascinating, but apart from extra armour bits, all modern AFVs follow a pattern. I think they're all by design, aren't they? So they're all
I think they're all coming from the same manufacturer or sort of off the same drawing board. So there's going to be a sort of look of the same about them. Dave Barker asks, when painting one-piece wheels, mine always look terrible. How do you mask them when they are reset? Maybe a typo there. How do you mask wheels? You could buy wheel masks, or you can make your own using a plastic cutter. Put a circle the size of the wheel in a piece of plastic, and then use that as a mask just to paint everything.
Is this to paint the hub in the middle and then not the tyre?
I'm thinking
the other way around.
Paint the tyre and not the hub.
Yeah, I think it's both way around. You can use if you cut a hole out of some plastic, you can use the centre of that hole to paint the outside, and then mask it with a circle and paint the inside.
Reese from RJC Model says Fox Accurate Armour do a lot of British stuff.
There's good stuff. Nice stuff is Accurate Armour. Some of it is expensive, but you get what you pay for.
Griff MJ says to Dave, buy a circle stencil from W.H. Smith. Get your maths set out, Dave. It's time to go back to school.
Yeah, you can actually get. Can you still get them? Those draftsman type templates, which was a piece of perspex with lots of different size holes cut.
Yeah, draftsman's helpers and circles and things, and French curves. But the thing is, I mean, whenever I painted vehicles and they've like one-piece wheel, like Tamiya kits and stuff, I've just painted them. I've just kind of brush painted the hub. I painted the whole thing like rubber black whenever I'm using it, and then just carefully painted the hub, because normally you've got the tyre and the hub in the middle with a little raised lip. And what I've always done is, if I'm brush painting, you paint the hub like with the brush here, so it doesn't go down the side where the tyre is. This is what I do. So I paint the inside of the hub where you meet the lip, and then for this bit here, I paint rubber black or the dark colour almost up to the edge of the hub, but not quite. Almost. So you leave a little bit of like the hub colour. So you've got your hub like that. This is, say, desert tan. This is your black for your tyre, and there's a little tiny gap here. Then what I do is I get some of this colour that I used for the tyre, I thin it down and make a wash, and I just run it along this edge. And what that will do is it will collect. You have to do a couple of goes. It will collect in that little gap between the hub and the tyre. And if you're careful with it and neat with it, you'll get a nice, very, very subtle fade that almost looks like a straight line between the tyre colour and the colour of your hub.
And you'll also be covering it in mud.
Perfect as masking it off, but it works if you're doing something fairly small.
Speaking of desert tan, you just reminded me. This is what I've been doing this week. In between the submarine, I've been doing this little Tamiya SAS Jeep. You might remember this from a few years ago. I'm sure we've all built one of these.
Strangely enough, Ted,
you got yours?
Because I've got mine there. I built this in 1989. And I had a load of extra bits and bobs and jerry cans to it. But yeah, and I was like, I don't know, 15 or 16 or 17 or so. I don't know. I was like 17 or something. And I look at this on my shelf now, and I'm still quite proud of this because it's not bad. It's a bit rubbish by today's standards, my modern standards. But I'm quite pleased. You know, it's not bad. And it wasn't primed. It was all brush painted with Tamiya paints. Get it, believe it or not primed, and it's still not had any paint wear off it in whatever 20 odd years.
Yeah,
I'm doing a better paint job on yours there.
I've done mine in the desert tan, but I've done my one-piece wheels exactly the way that Fox had said he'd done them. I don't know if is that in focus. I can't quite see.
You're about out of focus.
Let's see if
Hang on.
Let's see if I'm fetching it.
Focus on you there. Oh,
Back a bit.
There you go.
There it is.
Move it back a bit. There you go.
There it is. Yeah, that's it. So you can see pointy stick time.
Moved it now.
I'll get it back in focus. There we go.
There you go.
There we go. Just paint into that groove there, and then as Fox says, the black, just water it down and let it flow into the groove around there.
Because there is a step between the hub and the tyre, so you can. I always find that washes are a brilliant way to meet up with edges. Just very quickly, Gareth Redfern, thank you very much for your super chat comment. He says, "Sorry, I've missed the last couple of shows." Yeah, you have been missed. You have been missed, Gareth. Thank you for that. Yes,
Chard finds it quite funny that Ted's asking if something is focus.
I know.
I'm waiting for focus.
Ironic. But yeah, that method of having two different colours and you want to wash, I use it when I'm doing Games Workshop stuff. I use their null oil or their shades all the time for that kind of thing. And when you're painting a model, if you've got two colours and they meet and there's a step or a height difference, don't worry about getting them crisp and straight. If you're brush painting, just use either thin down one of the colors, or if you're doing a wash to go into panel lines, you can use that wash to hide that little bit of a wiggliness. So if you're brush painting, especially if you're masking off and airbrushing, then you can get crisp lines. If you're brush painting, don't lose sleep over straight lines, because a wash or in the groove can hide everything. And if you're going to weather it, you're going to have stuff accumulated anyway, so your wash can hide that. So it's always a handy tip. Don't worry so much about perfectly straight lines. Have you found that build, Ted, on that Jeep, considering it was, when was it made?
Not
the actual 74, I think you said.
74, I think. It's got on the sprue 1974. Yeah, for cracking. Smooth said he's never built an SAS Jeep. Smooth, go out and get yourself an SAS Jeep. You'll love it. It's great. Things have changed with Tamiya. Things have changed with Tamiya since then. The figures are a little bit soft in the moulding, but it goes together brilliantly. It's just great fun. It's really sort of got my mojo going again.
I've got to say, Ted, given the fact that, like, I agree with you that the moulding on the figures is, by today's Tamiya standards, a little bit soft. The build is quite simple. I've got to tell you, this kit was released in 1974, and this kit beats so many modern manufacturers hands down. That it's incredible that manufacturers now are making stuff that doesn't even compare to stuff Tamiya was releasing when I was 3. Yeah,
and I know that Dave Barker mentioned last week that there is an excellent 428 kit for this now. There's lots of stuff available for this now. The fuel cans that come in the kit.
Oh, jerry cans.
Oh. They're not perfect, and they're actually wrong, because there's only, you see on the end, there's actually only 2 handles. There should be 3. But Tamiya do an extras kit now where you can buy jerry cans and it fit them on and everything's good. Get a new set of guns for it, a new set of jerry cans, and maybe the photo etch set, and you're going to have a brilliant model, a nice little model, and not too big a stretch on the pocket either.
No, you know what I did to my deck? Bearing in mind I was like 17 or something. This is like hundreds of years ago, and I'd never done it before. What I did on mine was, on the jerry cans, you won't see it, but I actually used some plastic card to go around the jerry cans like a leather strap. It's a little strip of plastic card, made a little buckle. And then I got some net curtain and made like a rolled up, whatever that would be, camouflage netting. And again, made a little plastic card strap to go around it. And on this side, I got a little bit of handkerchief and I scrumpled it up into it, rolled it up, put some plastic card to make straps and painted it green.
I've done that.
Only 17.
I've done that, yeah. I've got some tissue, some wood glue. I'm ready to make a
Yeah, I was trying to
Back
remember
it
the
roll.
other day how you do that, and it literally is you get some tissue or some material, roll it up, get some string and tie it so it makes the squishy shape, and then get some plastic card and just glue it to itself as a leather strap, and get another bit of plastic card up like that to be like the end of the strap. That's how I do it.
Yeah, it's good.
And I was 17, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just making it up. I'm like, oh, there you go.
Trot and Chad says SASG group build. Could be.
Yeah, I think about what, 15 quid, 10, 15 quid, those kits. They're not
Yeah,
expensive. The only thing I would say is the SAS Jeep is a brilliant kit. Don't get the Kubelwagen. It's not a brilliant kit.
Yeah.
Not a very good one, the Kubelwagen. I didn't like it.
Oh,
Smooth says, I like those scratch building skills, Fox. Impressed I am. I think there's a little bit of sarcasm there. I have no scratch building skills at all. The thing is, the thing I've learned is when I was like 15 to 17 or whatever, you're dead young, I just had fun. So I experimented a lot. Now I'm older, I'm more cautious, so I don't experiment and try things out. It's the sadness of old age. I'm less creative now than I used to be when I was a lot younger.
Oh. Yeah, Fox is now in trouble as his mum's finally found out who cut her net curtains up.
Yeah. Well, it's easy because I used to go downstairs and would say, Mum, have you got a net curtain we don't need? Yeah, I have this one. It's old. Brilliant. That lasts me for years. Great handy tip for making camouflage netting. Just go and get a bit of net curtain, but obviously make sure it's a net curtain you're not supposed to be putting up.
Not the one in the window. I did notice back there as well that Tony Black says Tamiya did a sweet Land Rover ambulance. They did. I think I built that one.
I've done that one as well.
Yeah, I think I built that. I don't think it's in print anymore. I've never seen it. I don't think.
No, I don't think it was a particularly common kit then. I got it once and built it. Trot and Charge says, "Hello, Fox's mum." Give it 30 seconds. There'll be a shout.
Oh, right. Yeah, but
Lynn Dipple says, "Hi, Fox's mum." RJC says, "Hello, Mummy Fox." Moo says, "Good evening, Fox's mum." "Hello, Mum. Fox, cut up your curtains," says Dave. I can just hear Ted talking about it not being in print, so I'll give it about 10-15 seconds. Mike says, "Hello, Fox's mum." She has the iPad on really loud.
Yeah,
I suppose we should say hello as well. Hello, Fox's mum.
I don't need to.
Yeah. Vincent says that's a major downside of liking expensive kits. You get very scared when you need to try something new.
We're doing what?
Vincent says about liking expensive kits. Yeah, you tend to. There's a hand.
There's a hand waving just off screen. Vincent says, "Hello, Fox's parental unit."
It's Fox's responsible adult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my keeper.
All right. Scott Sutherland's obviously gone to check. The SAS Jeep is out of stock at eModels.
In the last 3 minutes.
Yeah.
There was loads. I'm sure there was loads there before we reached it.
Yes. Well, I mean, assuming that Pete, mate, or one of the guys will be watching this anyway, that should probably be back in stock fairly soon, I would suspect. But just drop an email. Drop an email. If you're after one, and they'll be able to get it back in stock for you. Bearing in mind, eModels are the UK's largest stockist of Tamiya. So if you're after a Tamiya kit, pretty certain they can get it for you fairly quickly.
Yeah. I think they must get a restock sort of daily for the amount of stuff that goes out the door. Oh, right.
Smooth, what was your question? Because it's Smooth says he wasn't being sarcastic. He actually liked it. He was saying it in Yoda voice. No, I was only joking, saying you're being sarcastic. Because I know I can't do scratch building, and I expect people to say your scratch building skills are terrible. Yes, they are. What was your question, Smooth? Because I missed it. He says I'll get an answer eventually.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look for Smooth's question.
If we miss a question, it's gone. With it. If we miss a question to answer it within like
very little chance of
2 minutes, we're never going to see it again. So yeah, just post it up again. Do it in big fat caps.
Do it in bold.
Yeah, do it in bold. It's about that time again. Yeah, it's about that time we should go and have a look in store.
Yeah, should have a look in store. So I'll lock it on you, Ted Wardicus.
Yeah, while Smooth's getting the question.
I have pressed the button. It is now locked on you for all time and forever.
Right.
So close those other browser tabs that you don't want us to see.
Right, I shut that one, and I'll shut. No, I can't shut that one because I need to screen share.
No, that's your flesh tones research tab. We don't want to see that.
Oh, Smooth says he just did get the answer, so I think
Okay,
that was
I
probably
can't remember what I said
relevant,
now.
but-
I've actually forgotten what I said 2 minutes ago. It's just not good.
Right, screen share, sharing screen. There's everybody. Look there. Hi.
I'm actually so bad. I had a shower this morning and brushed my teeth, and then when I got out of the shower, I thought, did I brush my teeth? Really?
Right. What we're going to look at this week? Can we see the screen? By the way, are we screen sharing?
No, I've got your face going on at the moment.
Oh, why is
I'm
it
not
not
seeing
screen
what's on your
sharing?
screen, Edward.
Oh dear.
Press the button. Press not that button.
Oh, I haven't pressed the button. I haven't pressed the button. Hang on. I didn't press that button.
That
Oh,
button.
there we go.
Infinite regression.
Play button.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we're going to look at this week are paint sets, because I know it comes up quite often. What colour should I paint this? What colour should I paint that? Well, AK and me both. Well, I know there's sort of companies that have split and gone separate ways, but still producing the same sort of stuff. Both of them produce brilliant paint sets. And rather than pick individual ones out, what I've done here, I've just gone to the AK interactive paint sets, as you can see up here. Just type that in the search, and it brings up all of these and everything here. All you could ever want. Go back to the top. I can't find my point.
It's quite amazing all the different kind of variety that these different companies have for their paint sets.
Yeah, it's gone from red uniforms for Napoleonic type wars and things like that, down to Soviet World War II uniforms. It's got all the right colours. Okay, I've done all the research for you, so you don't have to go out. And it's really quite a cost-effective way of buying a numerous sets of paints to paint the vehicles or the figures that you want. What we're looking at the moment is figure painting, modern desert uniform, woodland camouflage, woodland and fleck town camouflage. Don't think I'd like to paint fleck town.
There's like 5 or 6 colours in each one by the looks of it.
Yeah, let's go and have a look at. Let's just pick one.
Menu discipline, Ted. Menu discipline.
Let's just go pick one at random. Modern Desert Army colours. This will do you, I would think, looking at the box. Maybe Second World War and modern Afghan type wars. How many's in there? I'll try to look at the box.
6 by the looks of the thing.
1, 2, 3, 6 in there. I've got a few of these kits. I've got the both the AK and the MiG sets. I've got German war colours, late war colours, and tools. I've also got a set of life colour paints for the U-boat. So, and I think the savings on these, if rather than buying them individually, I think you do save a couple of quid here and there to paint them all up.
It's always a handy thing as well. If you're doing a particular thing, there's probably a kit out there, and it's not just vehicles. It's figures. There's some sci-fi stuff. There are some mecha sets which are kind of like for Gunpla, but they just can't use the word Gunpla because. But there's loads of sets out. There's ones for like flesh, different colours of flesh, and there's also sets of weathering products like that one that you're on there, the aircraft landing gear weathering kits, where you might get different enamel products, like different streaking grimes, all collected together. So it's worth having a look, because if you're building a particular thing, there's probably a set out there that will save you umming and ahhing about the colour. You just got all the colours you need in one set.
There you got the RAF colour sets, and then you go down. There's the German colour sets that I've got. Brilliant, and you could use them for you don't have to just use them for those colours. You've always got.
Dave Barker says, "Don't forget the flesh colour set, Ted. Ted knows all about the flesh set.
Yeah. All about the flesh tones. Yeah, they're actually very good. The flesh sets as well. Yeah. Rust effects, if you just want to do rusting on your vehicles. Yeah. Africa core colours.
Vincent says he has a drawer full of AK sets, and most of his paint rack is filled with MiG bottles that come from sets from 90% of them.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's yeah. I try to be quite good. I try to keep the sets together, so at least I know where they come from.
AK seems to have
keep,
more focus on the actual paint sets, whereas Ammo seem to have a
if we go across to,
on the weathering sets. But they both.
If we go across to Ammo, Ammo do modern cockpit sets. They do filters, filter sets, and they'll do, as you've seen me using as well, they'll do a full set of mud weathering from splashes up to thick mud and pigments. Things like that. Tank starter sets, desert colours. They'll do modulation sets.
Modulation. I've never got modulation.
Now, I've never been a big fan of modulation, but I know some people do. What I have recently got into as well, especially on that SAS Jeep, was filters. I just applied some filters to change the colour of the Jeep, and it worked tremendously.
People get confused about filters, and the best way to explain it is it's just a very, very, very thin wash that doesn't go anywhere when you put it down. It's just a way of changing the tone.
Just very thin coats. If it's too thick, if you make your wash too thick, it become. If you make your filter too thick, it becomes a wash.
Yes, and the reason it's called a filter, because this also confuses people. It's like looking at a picture of something through a camera and then putting a coloured filter over the lens. So if I'm looking at something that's white and I put a red filter over the lens, it suddenly looks in shades of red. That's what a filter does, basically. It tints the colour of whatever you're painting it over, just very slightly, not as drastically as that, but that's what filters do.
Yeah, if you're stuck with us and you are still looking at these paint sets, one set that I would recommend is this one, the Ammo Weathering Tools colour set, because it's got all the shades of iron and metal. It's got some wood for the handles of your axes and things like that. Your your Bakelite colours for your bolt proppers, metal colours for your jacks and things like that. And it covers a multitude of uses in there.
Has that got steel in it? Because steel is an ammo colour that I really like. Oh, really good.
It's got Bakelite, Shadow Rust, New Wood, Light Wood, and Old Wood. So you can do all your handles of your wooden tools. You could do your metal work, your hammerheads, your spade blades, and things like that. Axes.
Spade blades.
Is that a spaceship?
Is that like a bane blade?
Is that a spaceship?
Spaceship.
So that's all I'm down there. And it goes on ad infinitum, and there will be anything in there. Realistic robot color sets. So if it's sci-fi, that's that one.
You know what that's for?
World War Sherman.
Realistic robots.
Robots.
No.
Transformers.
Ammo sci-fi ground vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all like I'm on bare metal aircraft colours. Yep. So if you're ever stuck and you ever need a question about what colour should I paint a German paratrooper in the Second World War, get yourself into these paint sets, and there's bound to be one there for you.
Smooth says he wishes eModels stock more of the live colour series. They do stock some, but if if you want more, drop them an email. Let them know there's a demand for them. Let them know you want them to stock them, and they can get them.
Yeah,
they won't stock it.
Yeah,
they don't know people want them.
I just picked AK and MiG tonight for paint sets, just to sort of thin the selections down a little bit. But yeah, it's all there. There are other paint sets from other manufacturers, Life Color, and all the rest of Life Color are good. I'm using them for my paints.
Yes,
right. I'll stop sharing.
Yes.
He says,
now, by way of an update, on the back of that, I'll just come off you. There's something I wanted to share with everybody that I learned this week. I've got all the Ammo by Mig crystal colours. They're clear colours. And I didn't get on with them very well when I was airbrushing them because they're too thick to airbrush. It's like jam. So I didn't enjoy them as airbrushing. So I've not really used them. However, I found the perfect use for the Ammo by Mig clear colours. Doing jewels and things on Warhammer kits. They often have these big like rubies and diamonds. Paint it a really reflective silver and put a dot of this over it, whatever colour, or it just looks like a proper reflective jewels. If you've got a model like a fantasy thing, not just Warhammer, but anything fantasy, and you've got any kind of like reflective jewel like a ruby or anything like that, or a gemstone, get some of these ammo clear colors, the crystal colors, just blop it on over a reflective silver coat, something like the Vallejo duraluminium, and it looks beautiful. It looks nice and shiny and reflective, and then get a bit of gloss over the top of it. Brilliant. So I finally found a use for my ammo crystal colors. Apart from the periscope green, which is great for making small VDU screens, obviously.
Oh, Trouton Charles just finishing work, so he's have to catch up with the rest later. So he's obviously only watching us while he's at work, and then when he's finished work, he can't watch us.
Yeah, he can't watch in his own time.
He's got to catch up with the list later.
Yep.
So night, all night. Bye.
Good night. Vincent says that's what he does with tail lights. You reminded me, I did use some of these on the tail lights of my transit van. So I wouldn't try spraying these, but for things like clear parts that you want to color, like tail lights, and for gemstones, brilliant. If you're into your fantasy models, your dragons and your knights and your ladies in ridiculously armor that wouldn't do anything to protect them, get some of these.
Has anybody used the AK True Color yet? Has anybody out there used them?
No, I've got the metal color.
Yeah,
the lacquer ones.
The lacquer acrylics.
Lacquer.
Yeah, I really need to get some to try them. Have a look. But if anybody's used them out there, let us know what you think of them.
Yeah. Smooth says Ted's out of focus again.
News, Terry. Lynn Dipple says, hi Odo and Odo's friends.
Yeah.
Odo says hi.
Paul sitting at the back here.
This Sigard. What's yours called, Chris?
Paul.
It's
actually called Paul. It's Paul something. Paul Hackinson.
Sigard.
The 23rd Jarl of Orkney. It's
Go on, Chris. What's yours?
Paul Hackinson, the 23rd Jarl of Orkney.
Yeah. And what's yours, Ted?
Sigard. It's if I pronounce that correctly. And, I can't do Orkney even properly. So Sigard.
It's not even Orkney. It's kind of Viking. Sigard.
I'm assuming it's Jarl. It's not Jarl or
I think it's Jarl.
It might be Jarl.
It is in Skyrim, so that must be correct.
Oh, it should. Yeah, it's based on Orkney, obviously.
What do you want with the Jarl?
Paul Stewart says the naming of Chris's puffin was nothing whatsoever to do with him. Honest.
Yes. Vincent says that these are very similar to the Tamiya clear colors. By the way, they are, but they're thicker. They're thicker and better at some things than the Tamiya ones. Tamiya ones can be sprayed just about. These ones, I'm not figuring out how to spray them, but they are really good for other things. Oh, not my camera.
John Bennett said he's doing a Yacht Tiger with True Colors at the moment. What do you think of him, John? Let us know.
I didn't know.
Are they good?
I didn't know the True Colors. You can actually not thin them, but if you're brushing them on, you can add some water to them and they'll go even thinner. So you can paint them and get a really smooth finish. One of the how-to videos shows him doing that to do a camouflage pattern.
Yeah, I believe they go on and lay down flat, whether they're brushed or airbrushed, so can't be all bad.
Vincent says no, he meant the real colours. They're the same as Tamiya acrylics and hobby acrylics. Yeah, they're like lacquers, so they're not really lacquers and they're not acrylics. They're just like Tamiya paints, sort of lacquer acrylics. I don't know why Tamiya called. Well, I kind of know why they call them acrylics, but they're not actually acrylics. They're kind of slightly lacquerous.
Yeah. Scott says his puffin's called Thornfin. So
we know Thornfin.
Yeah. Of Odo, Thornfin, Sigard, and Paul.
Zadster says, I feel deprived. I don't have a puffin. Well, you know what you need to do? You need to get yourself a puffin.
Get yourself up to the Orkneys and grab yourself a puffin.
Lynn says she hasn't got a puffin name, but have you got a puffin?
Yeah, you can have a puffin. Yeah.
You need to get a puffin name. TK has a Heinisch. Yes, we know all about Heinisch. Scaring children since 1972.
Yeah. Oh, where are we up to? What time is it? 20 past?
Yeah, I think it's time to give stuff away, Ted, don't you?
Yeah. And fortunately, my internet, I can't speak too soon, but my internet seems to be holding up so far.
Yeah, don't move anything, Ted. For the love of dog, don't move anything.
Smooth. Smoo says his question isn't coming in capitals, so it was having sprayed the metallic coats. What's the best way of spraying the candy coat for an even coverage?
If you're doing a candy coat, that's when you want to use a clear color over the top. And again, don't use the big ones; they're really hard to spray. I've only ever tried it with Tamiya clears, and it's doable, but you've got to get it just right. And I was never really good at it, so I can't really.
Is it not just thin coats? Is the only answer to everything?
Yeah, it is. But then Tamiya clears can be weird sometimes. If you're doing thin coats, they can be a bit more opaque, which is kind of weird. So I can't speak to them. I know it's a metallic color with clears over the top, but I'm not the expert, so I can't say. When I've tried it in the past, it kind of sucked.
Ashley Sparrowhawk says, question, why is there a Lancaster in the background, Ted? This one.
Why not?
This really is just a shelf queen.
Because if it was in the foreground, you wouldn't be able to see Ted.
Yeah, it'd be a bit weird then. Hovering there like that.
No, leave the lad alone. He's asked a proper question. People ask proper questions and you just make fun of them. Leave them alone. Ashley, yeah, this is the Revell. Which Revell was it? It was the Revell Lancaster bomber. Yeah, it's my son's model. We began assembling it, and we broke the cockpit. The cockpit canopy got broke, and it never really went any further.
And then the 1990s happened, and it's just
yeah. And then the world was in colour.
Yeah.
So it's as far as it's got, and it's just languishing on the shelf since then, gathering dust, authentic dust.
That's big.
Yeah, so that's as far as that's going. It actually feels like the wings are loose. Oh, yeah, the wings are very loose.
Look, it's snap fit. Well, something snapped.
Yeah, so I could, yeah, we will actually. Get some stuff better now.
Did you know this whole thing about this show is model making, not model taking apart?
So that's why it's there.
Michael Jackman asked who won the picture comp. We'll get there.
Yep, we're getting there.
We'll get there.
Philip Rose said HK model is launching a 132nd Lancaster bomber. Yeah, I've seen the announcements about that, and that is going to be huge.
Yeah, you'll have to borrow that garage that's getting built to build that 172nd scale Royal. Not coming handy.
Well, there's a 132nd scale Flying Fortress, isn't there? H&K brought that one out. Yeah, and that was a nice model. I think it didn't Adam build that one. I think Adam built
I don't know.
Yeah. No,
he didn't do a Lancaster. Dad didn't build a Lancaster.
No.
He's got all the room, though, hasn't he?
He did a B-52.
So, yeah, that's going to be nice, though. If anybody's building it, send us some pictures in to the gallery, which we'll talk about in a moment.
Yes. Ted, let's give some stuff away. We will do that.
Should we give some stuff away?
Yeah, let's give some stuff away.
Hang on, let me get my screen ready so I'm on the right screen for giving stuff away. I can shut some windows now and take the pressure off my...
Just take that pressure off.
Don't shut that one. No, not that one.
Yeah.
Lock it on you again, Tedward. There you go.
In a minute.
Too late. Done now.
The locking button has been locked and pressed.
Where am I at? There we go. That one. Right, if I share the screen somehow. Why would it share the screen without...
Wait, before you do that, do we want to tell you who won last week's first, or do we want to actually give something away this week?
We'll give the winner of last week's giveaway away first.
Okay.
The tractor.
So we plan this meticulously.
Announcing the winner, right.
Right, announcing the winner. I remember we did last week. We were giving this away. It was this one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Thunder Models 135th Army Loader Bulldozer.
It's basically a tractor with a big thing on the front, right? And then you drive around going, "I'm on a tractor." That's what you
see tractor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect thing for doing all your weathering and rusting and everything. It's a weathering pig.
Yeah, and so you can pick up one of them kits, one of them paint kits we've just looked at, and do all your weathering on it. Because I think AK do an actual civilian vehicles weathering, and they show a tractor. Demonstrate all the techniques on a tractor.
And I could
So
be wrong.
body
But I'm pretty
tracker.
sure civilian vehicles weather in exactly the same way as military vehicles.
Yeah, should do. Yeah, but yeah, just not in green. That's all. Right. So we're going to give that one away. Stop sharing. Right. I'll come back to you so I can see what everybody's happening.
Still in focus.
Still in focus.
It's impressive.
I know.
Right. I'll get the clipboard for my able assistant. Thank you very much. Right. I've made the notes on here. I've made some notes, and I can't read them. Right. Last week's winner.
Always good to write the notes in your own handwriting, Ted.
Yeah. Last week's winner of the tractor was comment number 27, and the winner was pause for dramatic effect. The winner was David Carvey. David Carvey, you're the winner of the tractor from last week.
Yep.
If you are watching or you're watching later on in the week, drop us an email to ted@emodels.co.uk.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll put that in the chat just in case he's watching and in the chat.
Yeah. Remember, please let us know what you've won.
Spelt it wrong.
Yeah, because we might send you the Dora by mistake, and you wouldn't want that to happen. Right.
Yep, so well done. You can have some fun weathering that one. Make sure to put pictures up in the gallery.
Yeah, put some pictures up in the gallery. Let's see how you
get
get on.
Weathered it.
Yeah, so let's see your address to ted@emodels.co.uk. I'll get it out to you. Right, what else do we do now? We just sit here, wait till the end, do we?
Yeah. Well, the gin meister might turn up at some point. The gin fairy.
Yes, it's Monday night, isn't it? Yacht Club night. But they got shut down last week. There was no the Noise Abatement Society. The council shut them down, didn't they, for too much noise at the karaoke.
There was a complaint next door from a house full of mating cats who were complaining about the noise, putting them off.
Yeah, that was it. Right, I'm sorry, I'm just checking, see if we've got any more emails. No, we haven't got any more emails. So over to you guys. Any more questions while we rub it on in here?
Yes.
Tim Biggs, the Carpet Monster 2, bench 0. What he lost this time?
2 things, apparently.
2 things.
He's lost 2 things to the Carpet Monster.
Oh, hang on, I just
drop another thing off your bench and watch where it goes. It will land next to the other 2.
In fact, paint a little thing with like really bright luminous paint and then drop it. Or if you can, affix a tiny little sort of chip to it so you can track it. And SatNav will show it go like that, and you'll know it's at least that far away.
Go and buy a puppy and train it to look for lost bits in the carpet.
Yeah. There is that. One day you'll lose a tiny part to the Carpet Monster, but you'll be repaid because you'll find like a sock.
£1.
Yeah, they work together, you see, the sock monster and the Carpet Monster.
And the lids of the pens.
Yeah, pen lid monster. Question for Chris from Smoo. I really like the 3D diorama you printed. Are there any fantasy type ones, and can I has one?
There is everything in the entire world available to print on websites and things. And yes, buy a 3D printer. You can have them all.
I like the way you do that. Yeah, you buy yourself a 3D printer and you can have as many as you want. Did you know you can actually get there's something that does a pattern for a Protectron from Fallout?
Is there?
Yeah,
I'm not sure there is. I've been tempted by a couple of things. There's a full-on Iron Man suit that you can actually print in parts, but I think it would take 5 years to print all the individual bits, and then they won't fit me because I haven't got the right shaped body.
Yeah, I've seen there's somebody does a T65 power armor from Fallout as a set, and I'm sure somebody's done a Warhammer Space Marine at some point.
Tim Bick said he's found his bit. So
yeah,
Carpet Monster loses.
Take the puppy back.
You need a model making chicken, says Dave Backer, for beating the Carpet Monster. Yeah, then you find your little bits will turn up in your egg at breakfast. There's that wheel I was missing. Right, should we give something else away?
Yeah, let's do a giveaway, Ted.
Right.
Some shiz. Let's gizzle some shizzle.
Right.
For the pizzle in the chisel.
I tell you what, Eddie, you could give the stickers away this week because I haven't managed to send mine out yet.
Oh, you're rubbish. You're clearly rubbish. Die Stickerin gefahren. I can't promise that they won't turn up in like brown envelopes because I might only have brown envelopes. So you might think it's a tax rebate. It's not. It's just a sticker.
Yeah, and if you look closer through the scribble, you can see Fox's address under it.
And if you're lucky, I might send you one of the rare printed upside down ones. They're worth a fortune, trust me.
We should have some gold ones for next week, shouldn't we? But
gold
with balloons on them.
Yeah.
They're sparkly ones.
Oh, apparently it's locked on Ted.
Oh, is it?
I don't know if that's
Ted was going to do a giveaway.
I don't know that it's a complaint. It might just be if people don't want to see us, it's fine.
I might be really happy for it to be locked on. They're like, yay! So let's do some stickery giveaways then. I shall model them if you guys want to ask and question. Should we do 2? I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind writing out 2 whole envelopes.
Have you got 2 stamps?
I can get 2 stamps from the man in the shop that sells.
Can we see if the people who win them live next to each other?
That'd be handy. Or just both give them to both the same person.
What you do, you send both stickers to the same person and ask that person to forward the others on.
Sounds about right.
Reese
has got a question for me. What was the Africa Twin like to build? It was actually really nice. It's completely different to anything I've built before, and it was more sort of screwing things together a lot more than I thought it was going to be with proper metal parts and screws and things. So it's a good kit, a fun kit, but it's quite a big kit.
You need to be a mechanic to build it. Then you need a mechanic. Much,
yeah. I mean, there's proper suspension and springs and stuff and everything on it. So.
Tim Bick says Fox is on a Spandau Ballet jive tonight. 2 song references. I didn't even know I made this first one.
No, I caught the last one.
An unintentional Spandau Ballet thing.
Spandau Ballet.
Smooth says, "Can he ask a question for the sticker?" I don't see why not.
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, then. So we're gonna obviously the usual rules. It's open to people in the chat. Smooth, you're exempt from the competition. You can't enter your own competition.
Apparently, Fox will know the answer, so that's okay.
I will know the answer. Okay, Smooth.
Maybe we could win a sticker this week then.
Yeah, I could win a sticker.
Yeah.
So yes, Smooth will ask the question, but you can't answer till he says go. In fact, no, until one of us 3 says go, because then it gets round lag. Then, so we'll give it. He'll ask the question in chat. We'll give it a minute or so before we say go. So don't answer before one of us 3 says go.
No, we'll leave it.
We see.
Yeah, we'll leave it up to you, Fox.
One of us is going to say go first, then.
Hey? We'll figure it out.
This is going to fall. This is going to fall apart, isn't it?
Not at all, get it? It's going to be.
He's already asked the question, but don't go yet.
You said the word.
Question for the sticker: Make Abteilung make and oil paint. ABT 510. What color is it? So what is the oil paint A510 called? It's Abteilung 502 oil paint, and it's number 510.
Do you know the
ready?
answer, folks?
In 3, in 2, 1, go. I know what the answer is.
I don't know the answer numbers. I do now. Yeah.
Which is the Abteilung 502 oil paint. Bang, there we go. First one is Manning Tree Modeler Starship Filth. Is the first one we've got. Yep. Oh, no, wait. Is that right? What, is that the first one? Yep, Manning Tree Modeler.
Yeah, I saw that one first.
Yep. So brilliant. You've got Starship Filth. Fantastic. Thank you for the question, Smooth. Well done, Manning Tree. Send a mail to... I still can't type
Ted at eModels.co.uk.
And that will focus. Ted will then mail me to tell me what your address is. I will send it out to you. I like that. Should we pick someone at random to ask a question? Someone at random from the chat.
Someone else. Yeah.
Oh no, but then again, we need to know the answer. So
yeah.
We'll sort something out. We'll do this more often, though. I like doing that. That's one sticker.
Yeah, we could perhaps, well, you could perhaps email your questions, your random questions, to ted at eModels.co.uk.
And the answers.
Yeah, that's an idea.
And the answers.
If you want our silly mug and sticker question to be one you've asked, then drop Ted an email and say, here's a question and here's the answer, and we'll have a little collection of them. We'll keep them all together and we'll say who it's from, and we'll say this week's silly question comes from.
This, you could get yourself a mention on the eModels live stream.
Paul Stewart says, "I'll do it. You three will know the answer."
All right then. Yeah, she'll go for that.
Okay, well we're going to do another one anyway.
It can't be a rude question.
Yes, okay, it's family friendly, Paul. There are certain words you can't use, and I know it's most of the words that you use, but okay then. In that case, Paul, ready your question.
Yeah. We can't do sport or politics.
Yeah, don't do sport or politics because that just makes me fall asleep, and I don't like any of them. Okay, so Paul will ask the question from Paul Stewart. So I will ask him to type the question now, and don't go till we say go. I will read the question out, and then I will say go.
Go.
In case anybody doesn't see the question, I will read the question out when Paul gets his finger out and types it. Anytime now.
Today.
Might be a really long question.
It might be a really long question. Yeah, I like doing this, not having to look around.
Got them words that Ted can't say. Can we get Ted to read it?
Yeah, if it's full of foreign words. Paul Stewart says, how many episodes... Wait, hang on. How many episodes are there in the D'Agostini Falcon build? Do you mean my build or in the actual real thing? Do you mean number of issues?
He hasn't said the word to make you put answers in yet, so don't bother answering yet. Anyway.
Yeah, don't answer yet. I'm going to say... I'll say it's how many issues of the in my build. Not everybody knows that, but okay.
Everybody knows that.
How many episodes of the D'Agostini build did I film? Go.
Yeah, now it's go.
Yeah.
2,000 quid's worth, says Tony Black.
Paul says you rushed me.
Can we do that one again? Because everybody answered it kind of before I said.
Matthew Drake says 6, maybe 100. Matthew Drake, yeah, it was the first one there.
Okay, that works. So send your details. Send your detailing to ted at eModels.co.uk. That got confusing. I'm thinking, wait, does he mean me? Or does he mean in the actual thing? Oh, cool. There we go.
Apparently, I'm letting the power go to my head, says Vincent. But
it doesn't have far to go.
I haven't got any power,
does it? So
they haven't given me any power, so it's not exactly power.
No.
Not allowed to press any buttons either. So
nah, we don't give them access to buttons. That's the worst possible idea, right now.
TK said filmed or published.
Yeah, published. All of the above. Right, so yes, mail those into Ted and he'll get them to me and I'll get them to you in a suspicious brown envelope. I'll probably mark it HM Department of Taxes just to scare you a bit more. Important, do not read or something. Are we doing a mug? Or we're not doing a mug this week?
Did I start something that had the guy struggle with questions? Not that we ever struggle with questions, looking around the room to try and find something about.
Yeah, trying to think. Can I ask a question about that dusticle on the ceiling? I don't know how that's going to happen.
52 weeks we've been doing this, and still we can't think of a question before we go on air.
Yeah, we don't plan anything. You know that we don't plan anything on this show.
Catches us out.
I'm still waiting for the script for the first episode I was in. I haven't read that yet. You haven't sent me out the script for the first episode I was in, let alone the third.
No, that's true. Well, that's the thing. If we script things, it's just boring.
Lynn's asking who won. I can't remember who it was.
Who won what?
That last sticker.
Oh, you said who won it.
Yeah, I did. It was Matthew Drake.
Matthew Drake.
Right. Well done, Matthew. Congratulations.
You know we don't pay attention to never mind ourselves. John Bennett has got a question for a mug, but we need to know what the three of us, or one of the three of us, need to know what the answer is, John. Will we know what the answer is?
Put the answer first.
Michael Jackerman says, "Hey Fox, where did you get transparent beer?" Vodka, my friend, vodka.
Gin.
Sorry, yes, gin. It's not really, it's water.
What are we up to? Right.
Are we doing a mug?
Yeah, we're doing a mug. Let's do a mug. Let's do. At least we don't have to send them out. eModels send them out.
Aye. Yeah, we'd have to send those out. Well, John Bennett says he's got a question. He says Fox should know it. Okay, go for it.
All right. Yeah, go for it then, John. Okay, you ask the question.
Remember, don't answer the question till I read out the question and then say go. Then you can answer it. So if you get your question in, John, and I hope I know the answer, because if not, we're a bit naked.
Well, if not, you just don't read it out. It's fine.
Yeah. So so if there's a lot of time between the question being typed and us saying go, don't answer, because you answer what can your call may be charged, although not count.
I know some people like watching. There's a little bit of a lag, but there's no point at which people will actually see me say go before I say go. That's not how the internet works.
On the next question, tonight's question for the mug will be coming from John Bennett.
John Bennett,
give him a minute.
He's got to ask questions because we can't make any up. Is that how it's improvised that off the top of my head? I'm a genius, me.
Yeah.
So not only are we getting people to ask questions to us, we're getting people to ask questions for them as well.
Yeah.
So eventually we can all just not do anything. And...
we can just sit here and smile politely. I would say, I think if we do this regularly, I think if you're going to have a question, have it ready to just copy and paste in. Might be a bit quicker.
Or email it to Ted at
eModels.co.uk.
This is where John Bennett has lost his internet connection. We don't hear back from him now. 25 minutes of not had the question yet.
I'll get half a question. What is Evans?
Yeah, one word at a time.
No pressure, John. No pressure, John.
Sprue Glue Addict says the tension's killing me.
It's gone quiet in the stalls. There we go. What kit did Fox build recently for eModels and doesn't want to give it back? TK's already said cheese and onion. So what kit did I build recently for eModels that I don't want to give back? Go.
Yes. What was it? Don't want to give it
back. Tell you out loud, am I?
I know what it was.
He says it was something off the top of his head, but I think the emailing Ted the question is a good idea. Yeah, we can do it this way. Matthew Drake says, Sprue Glue says evil. There you go.
There you go. Well done.
Sprue Glue Addict, well done. You get a mug of mugs.
A mug of mugs.
You know the drill. Send an email to ted at emodels.co.uk.
Cool. And you can get a special edition eModels mug. And if you're really lucky, you might get a left-handed one.
Yeah. How is it special edition? Is it because it's made to look exactly the same as others?
Yeah. And if you were trying to win a mug and you were unlucky and you didn't win a mug, you can get them on the eModels website, and I think they're still postage free.
Yep. Postage free, just £45 for your mug. Oh, did you see the story on the BBC News today about the curry house in Portsmouth?
No.
That sent a load of curries to expats in France. They had chartered a plane to deliver some curries.
Well, it's expensive. Yeah,
it was kind of a PR thing, but basically it was about 150. There's a big group of expats living in France. So this little takeaway place, it was so popular that he chartered a plane to deliver all these curries, and it cost like £15,000. And in the interview, the guy was like, "Yeah, it cost about £32 a head, but I kept my promise, like I always do. I didn't charge any delivery costs over £12. So."
Oh well, I wonder if it gets up here then.
That would be warm when it got there.
All right, shall we continue on the theme of giving things away then?
Yes, are we?
Hang on.
Can we?
Yeah, I've got.
What day is it?
Right. Right. Well, we've done the tractor from last week. Oops, excuse me. Gallery time.
Yeah.
Yeah, who won with the gallery? Right.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that. Wow, yeah, it's war then.
I won't screen share just yet. Let me go get the picture up.
Oh, let me look it onto you.
I can get that one out of the way.
John Bennett says he's going to upset me by saying he's building the Freighter Eagle. It's a good kit, that. Yeah. Michael Jackman, we're just doing that now. We're just doing it now. We just said that. We're doing it. Right, when you ask that question, we're doing it. Ted's doing it now. We're doing it.
We'd have done it by now. Shouldn't have asked that question and then wasted our time.
Are you doing it, Ted? Are you doing it?
Yeah. I'm doing it. I'm getting there.
Jackson says, where can I get the knackered old tranny van? Well, you can't have the one that I made. Unless eModels wants to sell it to you. It's a Mark II Transit. Available from eModels.co.uk. Just type in transit.
And then follow the video to make it knackered.
Yeah, if it doesn't come up, it just means it's slightly out of stock. So just drop them an email and they'll get one in for you.
Yeah, but they do two now, don't they? They do the police command vehicle and they do the gas van as well, don't they?
Oh yes. Well, the one I had was the gas van.
Yeah.
But if you want to,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure if you actually want to buy the knackered one that I built, which is in eModels HQ right now, they'll probably sell it to you. Pete's not going to say no to money, is he? Can I buy that thing? Yeah, it's taking up shelf space.
Yeah. Right, should we share the screen?
Quid, 750 quid. That's probably far too much. Are we there, Ted?
Okay, right. We're there. I'm ready to go. As soon as I press the button, it'll share the screen and everybody will be able to see who has won this month. Well, it was last month's, wasn't it? January's. Was it January's?
It was December, January's, yes. For those that
done January.
Oh, we're only in January now, aren't we? Yeah, it was December's.
For those that don't know what
Christmas.
this is, if you go on the eModels website, emodels.co.uk/gallery, there is a gallery where you can upload photographs of your builds, one per build, and you can rate each other's work. And every month, what Ted and I do on the first of the month, or the first show of the month.
Wait, me as well.
And Chris, my apologies. Historically, just been me and Ted. What we do is we go in and we pick, we have a bit of a battle and we pick our favourite 5-star rated build for that month. And it could be any of them. And it could have been uploaded the day before or 6 months ago. We just pick the one that tickles our fancy. So it's just completely, I like that one. That one gets my vote this month. And that person wins a sweet, awesome prize. So if you've not used the gallery yet, do go along, upload pictures of your builds and get rating other people's work. Because then when you rate people, they'll rate you back. And we only look at the 5-star rated ones. So I shall lock it on you, Twedward. Yeah.
One thing we did note this week was that maybe because of the Christmas period, there's a lot of pictures on there now that need your votes. We can't include them in a video in the competition until they got 5 stars. So get yourself voting. Yeah. Because if you vote for somebody, they might vote for you. So get yourself done. Right, I'm going to share the screen and show you what the prize is for this week.
It's a prize. How do you like my little
prize? It's the Hobby Boss Corsair 148 scale. Nice little aircraft. I think we did a Corsair first, did we? Was that the first prize to give away? But that was a Tamiya one.
Yeah, the first one we did was the big massive Tamiya kick. It was a special. It was the first one we ever did, so we did a special giveaway for that one. It was the big massive Tamiya Corsair. But you got to say, it's an awesome plane. You can't really not like the Corsair.
And the winner is this awesome build.
There was much discussion, much fighting. The winner is.
The winner is
covered up by the menu.
Yeah, the menu. Let's get that way out of the way. This one, nice load of work. Excuse me.
Order.
A lot of work. A lot going on in this picture. It looks like it's an aircraft under restoration, maybe in a museum or something like that.
I'm not a big aircraft guy, but I'm going to guess it's a Lightning.
Yeah, it is the Airfix 148 Lightning, and it is. The winner is Ted. Oh, me? Did I win it? No, the winner is. Oh, yeah, I won. The winner is Ted Harris. Well done, Ted. If you're watching live, or if you're watching in chat, or if you want, if you catch up with us later on in the week, well done to Ted. Lovely model, nice work in the model. An FX kit, a lot going around it. It's telling a story.
I when I saw this, I fell in love with it. Not just because it's really well done. I mean, it's incredible work he's done on it, but it's more just the feeling of it, like just the whole idea of putting the tarp over the back with the tires to weigh it down and things like that. And the fact the plane it's not sparkly clean. It's weathered, but it's not battered. It's weathered because it's seen use, and it's just in for maintenance. And it's really nice. He's photographed it outdoors. And I had to look at the railings at the top left of the photograph, which are obviously real life railings, and then the sort of the green rail fence. And I'm like, hang on, which is that real fence or is that model fence? So it's just nicely done. It kind of just fits really well. And it's an incredible build. There's so much going on. There's so much detail.
He's got the tractor there as well. There's some work gone into the tractor and the figures as well. It's just, it's good. It's good overall, all-round picture. So well done, Ted Harris.
Yeah.
And the Corsair, 148 Corsair, will be yours as soon as you drop us some details.
I have to say that photograph there, though, if you took a picture of that kit in real daylight like that, but in a situation where there was nothing outside of the picture to identify scale, so maybe you had the picture low down, so all you saw was like the horizon and the sun and the sky, you wouldn't know it wasn't necessarily a real thing. If you photographed it just right, you wouldn't know it wasn't a picture of a real plane on an airstrip.
And some of the figures as well have sort of got realistic poses. Sometimes you see a figure in a diorama and the pose is too static, as really, for want of a better word. It doesn't sort of fit with what the person's supposed to be doing. But this sort of looks, it sort of has a nice feel about it. Yeah,
but it's important. It's important for us to say as well that people at Rodenworks, and the thing to remember is we're not necessarily going for the quality of the build. Now, this is an outstanding build. He's done an awesome amount of work, but it's not necessarily the quality of the build that sold it for us. It's the intent behind it and the feeling behind it and just the creativity. So it is beautifully done, and we're not gonna, I can't criticize the actual build quality, but this one tickled me because of just the feel of it and the way it's put together, and the build quality is in there. So if we try and encourage everybody, we don't just look at the best painted and best built models. Don't assume that because you've uploaded something and you might be looking at this and thinking, I can't do anything like that. You might still win.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to pick a showstopper every time. Sometimes there'll be younger builders that will do them, and we might pick one of those. So don't be put off by the quality of some of the winners we throw out, because everybody's in the running.
Yeah. And remember, you guys, as long as it's got 5 stars, we can include it in the voting. So give some of the other models, the ones that they appear to be the beginner or the guy that's come back into it after a while and working on his technique. You don't always have to give your 5 stars to outstanding models that you see. Give some support to the other guys, to the younger people as well. So
yeah, there are some actual builds there. If you go on the gallery, there are some builds there which are from younger builders, and they're great. Some of them are quite simple, some of them are quite detailed, but they're all really great, and it's always worth encouraging any builder. The thing that all of us and everybody in chat knows is that we all start out somewhere. We don't all start able to make museum quality models, and most of us can't. So we don't focus so much on the quality of the craftsmanship, although we do consider it. We don't just select a winner because it's an outstanding build. We take it into account, but there are other things we consider. So don't think that because you can't just create a museum quality model, you're not going to win something, because you never know. It could just be there's ones in there where I've looked at one, it's just made me giggle, and that could win because it made me giggle. Things like that. It could be, it's the humor and the feeling and the effort and the passion that's gone into it that's more important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, right, so let's get rid of this one.
Yes, I shall unlock it. So yes, send an email to ted@emodels.co.uk with your name, address, and everything else.
Yeah, well, tell us what you've. Don't forget to tell us what you've won.
Phone number, because some shipping wants phone numbers as well as addresses. So include a contact number as well, if in case it's done by courier.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Right.
Ron Mack has a question for you, Tedward.
Right, let me get the chat back up.
He says, Ron Mack says, question. This is a real facepalm one. I have an H&S Ultra, the one that, takes a small mortgage out, and I forgot to clean it and all the paint is rock hard. How would I remove the caked in paint without damaging the airbrush?
Give it a soak in. Yeah, it's solvent safe. TK says an ultrasonic cleaner. What I would suggest first is getting some of the main gunk out, and then perhaps you could drop it in an ultrasonic cleaner.
Smooth says what I was about to say, which is basically, if it's solvent safe, then cellulose thinners, because they are kind of the strongest thinners you're going to get. You can, if you want.
Yeah.
If you really want strong thinners, and I mean really strong thinners, you could go to your local place that sells. How can I explain this? Somewhere that sells stuff that things like garages and detailers would use. There's one in Manchester here called Morelli's. They sell things by 3M like spray guns, body shop equipment, places that sell stuff for body shops, and ask them for some standard thinners. There's like some U-Pol thinners which are super. They'll take anything off anything. They're designed to take paint off the inside of industrial spray guns. The only thing I would say is if you get some standard thinners, do it outside, because I opened a bottle of standard thinners for like 5 seconds and closed it. The house stank for most of the day. So do it outside.
Yeah, what you want to do is start soft first. Start with something nice and simple, something like the Ultimate Airbrush Cleaner. Start with that first. That may shift it. If that doesn't shift it, then go to the next level, and go to the next level. As Mr. Loth says, Vincent says, don't soak it in thinners. There are a couple of rubber seals in there. I have been on the guys at H&S, and they said it is solvent safe, but don't soak it.
Yeah, you can run solvents through it, no problem. Yeah. But you don't want to submerge it in, because there's parts that the thinners don't normally go through, like the air valve, that will just fall apart. Yeah. So even with the solvent safe brush, you could run lava through them. It'd be brilliant, but don't submerge it in that. Don't put it in a bath of cellulose thinners, because you'll just kill it.
Yeah. But as I say, start simple first. Start with just simple airbrush cleaner. Yeah. I soak it in that. If that doesn't move, then move up to the next level, and then the next level until you get it clean.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can. See, ideally, you're not supposed to soak an airbrush in anything other than really water. Maybe a tiny bit of airbrush cleaner, very briefly, like an ultrasonic bath.
I do know for the needle, the needle tip in the H&K set, it is removable, and you can actually get a small needle cleaner, which is like a little bit of a pointy scraper. Yeah. Be careful with these, because you can distort your needle tip using that. It's just for sort of like gently scraping around the inside of your tip. If you tip for that.
Mood does clarify. He says when he meant soak it in cellulose, he meant soak the paint cup, not the actual brush.
Yeah.
And I must admit, when I clean my airbrush, my Neo isn't solvent safe, but I still do the crown cap, the crown, and the paint cup. I soak them in isopropyl alcohol, because it's just metal, so I can soak those parts. But I clean the brush with airbrush cleaner.
Yeah. There's obviously brush cleaning sets as well. Various sizes of sort of bristle brushes, and you can also get these without the bristles, which are just the twisted wire. That is good as well. Lots of different sizes of them, just for getting in those. I've got
the Tamiya brush set up. It's quite good. I think that's in stock at the moment.
Yeah. So yeah, there's lots of alternatives for cleaning out. Don't fear, all is not lost, and you'll get that airbrush cleaned again.
But yeah, get it stripped down as well. Is the easiest way. Get your crown off, get your nozzle off, and get the head unit off.
Yeah.
This is what gets me with airbrushes, right? They always say, blah, 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 remove the head unit, but don't use pliers. Like the head unit on an airbrush is, there's no needle in this because I broke it. The head unit is that bit that the nozzle goes in. And they always say you can remove this to clean it. Don't use pliers. But they never give you a spanner to take it off. And the only way to get a head unit off when you get a brand new airbrush is to get some pliers and twist, because it's never going to come off by hand.
Yeah, there's
they give you a spanner for the nozzle, but they never give you a spanner for the head unit. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, there is a special tool for it. There's like soft jawed pliers for taking them off. You can actually get them.
There you go then. I didn't know such things existed, but I'm not an engineer, so.
Right.
I've just got a pair of old pliers from a junior toolbox that I had when I was 6. Yeah, there you go.
We haven't had a phone call yet, have we?
I know. We're not doing karaoke tonight.
Hang on.
Is that plugged into the same thing as your internet? Is that not
working?
Yeah.
75% of the people watching this be like, what's he doing? I don't understand what that turkey thing is.
It's ringing.
At least you didn't have to ask for an operator.
Hello, Wilmington 4242.
Hello, Stoke Yacht Club. Hello. Yes. Can I speak to Pete, please?
He's doing what?
He's calling the bingo. He can't get to the phone. Is James there? Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. We'll let James finish the game of bingo. James is waiting for a line.
Two fat ladies.
Yeah, I can hear them. Why is there no karaoke? Because the police, yeah. So they've had silent karaoke. That must be interesting.
Karaoke mime, cool.
Karaoke mime. Yeah. All right. Can you ask? Yeah. We've got the thumbs up. We've got the thumbs up from Peter. Yeah, you tell him 88 two fat ladies as well.
All the sevens, 47.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Doreen. Bye. That was Doreen, the barmaid.
They don't pay her enough, do they?
They don't. Yeah, Peter's calling the bingo tonight, and James has got a line. He's got one number waiting for a line, so they won't come
there with his dib. Do you think James has his own dibbers? Is he one of those like he brings his own dibbers, the bingo?
I think it'd be a green dibber as well, wouldn't it?
I reckon he does at least 7 or 8 cards at once as well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing worse than if you incur the wrath of a proper bingo professional. If you ever I have an occasion to go to bingo halls every now and then in the past, and it's a sad and depressing thing. You walk into bingo hall and you're just like, this is just the crowning human achievement of not at all. And then you get everybody playing bingo, some young people, and then you just get the ones that are like the bingo hawks, the professionals. They're there with their own personal dibbers and their bingo wings, and you're like, this is not a place I want to be. The only reason I'm here is because they got good chips and gravy.
Yeah, well, bingo at the yacht club. We must experience it sometime. Yeah, we must try and experience bingo.
They've never invited us, have they?
Yeah.
5 and 6, 22.
But yeah, so the message from Stoke Yacht Club is that we can have a giveaway. Should we go right? I'll just find something, and if you lock it on me, I'll find
I am locking now, sir. Locking.
Oh, you're locking. Right, let's go back to me.
F.
Right, I found something. And we could do screen share.
Screen sharing. Pictures on your screen.
Screen share. Press the button. That's the right button, isn't it? Press that one.
Not shared yet. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
I think we're giving away a Fox
this week.
I know.
We're giving away a Scammell Pioneer. I want to win this. I want to win this week because I like this. I want to build this.
You've just seen it with all the mud, and that's why you want to build it, because you can see the potential for mud.
Glorious mud.
Glorious mud.
Their Photoshop guy needs to work on their fonts, because it's hard to read that font over that picture.
It's still a nice
that looks mint.
Yeah, this is the Scammell Pioneer. I believe that this has an extended rear bed. I'm not going to read all that out because it's all there.
Yeah,
lost in France, destroyed by the troops withdrawing. D-Day, a lot were left over there. I don't know if you've heard before that I used to have a friend who was an enthusiast of these, and he actually owned one. So I really want to build one for him on his behalf. Yeah. So
Vincent says, "Ooh." Zadster says that looks interesting. Paul Stewart says they brush nicely too. Smooth says, "Ooh, reminds me of the Airfix Bofors gun and tractor, which was the first model I ever made. I want." Zadster says many texturings.
These had a suspension system where the wheels went in all directions, up and down, at all sort of different times.
That's just how I drive my car.
So
I've got that
really independent suspension, perhaps, something like that. Each axle was independently suspended. So it would look nice if you got that perched on going over a couple of rocks and things like that, with each axle sort of in different positions in relation to the other one. Really nice model.
Nice design. It's a pleasing design to look at as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just not displeasing in any way from a design point of view. It's got nice big chunky wheels and the mud guards and the
chunky and Second World War-ish, doesn't it? I'm just trying to find.
Somebody shrunk the bonnet though.
Yeah,
it's like they kind of designed it and then kind of put the wrong bonnet on. Like, oh, we got the little engine in this one. Oh,
there was a few of these that kept on kicking around well into the 70s, 80s, even the 90s. As vehicle recovery firms bought them up, and logging companies for hauling trees out of forests.
Zadster says they were used a lot in fairs and circuses as well.
Yeah, circuses and fairgrounds had them for towing all the huge kit around. Yeah, the real utilitarian sort of workhorses.
If you watch Heartbeat, there's probably one in there. Mum watches Heartbeat like every episode every day, so there's probably one in there. She'll have seen one.
So there we are. That's what you can win in this week's giveaway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mudtacular.
Yeah, and for everybody to have a chance, those that can't get in live, after the show's finished, we'll think of a comment that you can put in the comments section.
I have a comment if you want to use it.
Yeah, and we will pick a winner next week. So good luck, everybody. I'll stop sharing.
Remember, this is open to everybody in the universe. I'll just come off you, Ted. This is open to everybody, not just people in the chat. So when this stream is finished, about 10 or 15 minutes after, the video should be available on the eModels YouTube page. So go there, find this week's video, which this week's one is called Yacht Club Karaoke Edition. I should have really said gallery giveaway winner, but there you go. Probably would have been a better idea. But yes, look up this one and just put a comment on there on the YouTube video. Don't do it now because it's not there yet.
You can't.
And all you need to put in the comment is mucky pup. Mucky pup.
Yep.
Don't worry if you don't know any of it. If it's spelled wrong, we'll just go for it. At the end of the day, just put any comment on there. But if you put mucky pup, it's just funny. Yeah, mucky pup.
Yeah, and you can win that Scowl Pioneer.
Yeah, that'd be great fun to weather. That actually, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of weathering. Yeah, great. And this sort of continued throughout the war, so you could do it. Some of them are in the desert as well. So going back to our SAS Jeep, you could do them in desert colours. So,
Smooth says, Fox, is that a painting to your right? On that side? Or on that side?
Behind you. I don't know.
Behind me? This? This?
I don't know.
Well, my right is there. Over there is...
It's probably not that one.
I think he means this. No, this is just a large piece of white foam board that I use if I'm painting.
That's for a Bob Ross moment.
If I'm filming painting, I'll hold the model up and paint it.
He's not painting the big white thing. He's just painting a little thing. It's a backboard.
I'm trying this out, you see. I'm trying it Warhammer TV style where I paint a model, but I'll be there and I'll be like, now we're going to apply this colour. And I'm got the camera here.
No, you're going to get a painting easel and do a Bob Ross moment, aren't you? Some happy trees.
Yeah.
Let's get the hair.
These are trees.
I've got to tell you, though, if you're painting something, if you're like me and you're painting a model and you sit there with your brush and you're like this, painting kills your back. I've started trying out the sort of miniature painter's method of sitting there like this and painting like that, bracing it with your hands. And I've got to tell you, it's really comfortable. It really is good for your back. And strangely enough, you can actually get more accurate with your brushwork because you're bracing yourself and painting like that. And I'm hoping that's on camera. So if you've never tried it, try doing the tabletop painter's way of painting like that. For little kids, you can't get like a big 350 scale battleship and hold it like that and start painting the details. Give it a try. It might save your back.
Right. Just as we're winding up, there's a question in the chat from David Williams, a new modeler. Any tips for taking tiny grab rails from the sprue? Spent hours tonight filing off excess on small M41 grab rails. Yeah, one tip we did learn from the great Tony McPony was to use a little razor saw to file them off, to saw them off. Got one in here somewhere. Okay. Yeah, just a photo-etch razor saw, or if you've got a razor saw, you can actually just cut them off rather than try and cut them off with your scalpel because they'll ping everywhere.
Is that the little tiny saw blade thing? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a very tiny saw. Just saw them off.
Yeah. And one thing I found with little things like grab rails and exhaust pipes and stuff as well is when you're sanding them, don't use sanding sponges or sanding sticks. I don't normally use files, but when I'm doing like a thin tube, that if you sand it, it's going to go like that, and the sanding stick's going to grip on it and do that, and it'll snap. For some reason, if I use a metal file, get the tube, and just very gently go in one direction only, like that, with the file, very, very gently, it'll do it faster, and it won't bend the plastic tube as much, and it's less likely to snap. So grip it, and get a very, very fine metal file and sand nubs off that way. And only do it in one, not like this, because that bends and flexes the tube, but just one direction.
However small it is, hold it in your fingers rather than tweezers or anything, because you'll feel it. gripping with your fingers rather than pinging.
Yeah, don't use tweezers because it'll ping. Sometimes you've got to hold little things where they just stick out between your finger and thumb, and you can sand that bit. Just don't use tweezers.
Yeah, tweezers are just meant a tool for picking things across the room. That's all.
Yeah. A couple of things that came in. Jackson 1970 says, "What is mucky pup?" Mucky pup's like a British. I think it's a northern thing. Oh, you mucky pup! It means somebody that's. If your kid came home from school and they were covered in mud and dirt and filth, or they're all, you'd be like, "Oh, you're right, mucky pup, you are." As in somebody who's like gets all dirty and scruffy and like a child. Tony Black says, "Mucky pup was what mums used to call kids that got dirty." It's kind of 70s thing.
Yeah. It's a British thing. Yeah.
Philly says, "Fox, get the Citadel paint stand. It's awesome on your fiver." I've already got one. But we'll leave that one there because not something we sell yet.
All right, I'm just checking.
Pete, don't worry with the Warhammer stuff.
You need another one.
That was the top of my airbrush. I'm working on Pete with the Warhammer, but that was my airbrush. Wow.
Just as well your needles are already broken, isn't it?
I'll just like go home now. I'll put my airbrush back there. I'll put it there.
Yeah, now he wants a new tip as well.
Yes, I'm working on Pete with the Warhammer stuff, but maybe I got him to sell Gunpla, so I figure I can. You never know. One day.
Anyway, it's 11:10.
Is
I
it?
think it's time to bring today's service to an end, brethren. Thank you for joining in.
Sorry for the chaos just then. It all went wrong.
Yeah, it's that time of night when things start. If we don't leave now, we'll just break something.
Yeah. Like you might pop a wing off a plane or something.
No, nothing like that. I'm a bit nervous about sitting here now. I'm just going to sit here and not move just in case it's my turn.
Don't touch anything, Chris.
Put your hands in my pockets and I'll just sit here quietly.
Right. We'll better leave all these viewers in peace and pass our regards on to them and bring the sermon for today to an end.
Just before we do go, Ted, I just want to pass on Smooth's comment for Pete Mate. He says, "I think Citadel paints and Warhammer stuff would sell well if eModels stocked them. From a personal point of view, my nearest Warhammer store is miles away."
Yes.
Take note, Pete Mate, take note. I'm working on him, don't worry.
Where does Smooth live? I might go and open a Games Workshop.
Yeah, he lives several miles from a Games Workshop.
Right.
I'm working on Pete Mate though because I adore the Citadel paints. I find them the bbest paints to brush with, so I'm niggling away at Pete Mate. It might take a long time, but I'll get him to stock them eventually.
Yeah, we'll see what will happen. Yes, it's
but
just
how I like to think.
I think the main thing for eModels not stocking stuff is just that they've nowhere to put it.
Yes,
that's
at the moment there's a limit on warehouse space for the moment.
Yeah,
plans are afoot, but that's all I can take.
I don't know if Mike Mountain's in tonight or if anybody else has ever been to the eModels store, but it is crammed from top to bottom.
Yeah,
top to bottom.
Yeah,
top to bottom. Yeah,
top to bottom. It's crammed.
It's crammed. Yeah, it's packed.
Going forward, there are plans to get more warehouse space, but at the moment it's packed to the gunnels, which is why I was quite happy they were able to get Gunpla in because they must have obviously got some space freed up. But there are plans in the future for more warehouse space so they can carry more. They want more space to carry more product lines and more things. Obviously, they want to carry as much as they can. So I'll work on them in the course.
So on that note, if you need anything, go and have a look at the eModels website. If you've seen anything tonight that you fancy from what we've looked in store, slap it in your basket and get it checked out because it won't be there forever. We do know that things that we have looked at do sell out fairly quickly. So if you want it, slap it in your basket. Right, and time to go. And next week could be an anniversary edition for our first anniversary. So we'll see you all again. Have a great night. And in the immortal words of Dave Allen, may your God go with you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. A glass of whiskey now to be Dave Allen. I've got to press the button, haven't I?